Hello, everybody. It's so good to see everybody. I'm excited. We're back for another review, or we're going to be covering another episode of Star Trek: The Animated Series. Today we are on episode number 20. Unfortunately, there are only a total of 22 episodes, so we are quickly running out of them. And in fact, I need to get my butt in gear and figure out what I'm going to be covering next when we're done with the Star Trek: The Animated Series. Jill's going to be running along any minute now. She's having a little bit of technical difficulties in the background, but she will return. And I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to greet and thank everybody in the chat who came. I'm so glad you guys were here, and I want to appreciate your patience because, like I said, I know we didn't have a stream last week. So I'd like to thank Lemon Pie for being here. There we go. Lemon Pie, it's so good to see you here. And, yep, there's Scotty, and there's Jill. And there's Sean Carter. So good to see you, Sean Carter. Glad to see you. And I think, yes, I thought so. And Scogli just made it under the wire. Holy smokes, the sub growth is spectacular. Oh, it is? I haven't even looked. I hope so. Better than losing them, I suppose. And Lemon Pie says, cheers. Scogli says, at this rate, you'll have 1,000 subs in 6 months. That's very positive looking, but unlikely. But thank you, Scogli. Mad Scientist, so good to see you. Good friend, Mad Scientist. Good evening, all. Mad Scientist, as you guys can tell, is a fan of Judge Judy. Mad Scientist and I both used to watch a lot of her shows, or I think she's still in the air. It's funny, I just read today that I guess Judge Mathis and the People's Court are officially over.
Oh, no.
Lemon Pie says, yeah, after like 25 and 26 years, respectively, something like that. Lemon Pie says, hello, Mad Scientist. Scotty says, good day, Mad Scientist. And Scogli says, cheers, friends. Scogli says, I'm geared up for some wholesome. Shit's been weird. Yeah, you're right. Some bad news lately for some of us fellow YouTubers, and I hope we can write it out because I don't like to see anybody negatively treated. Lemon Pie says, Scogli, no kidding. Right, one of our fellow YouTubers, a very good friend, Tony Stark, has been going through some rough times. So if you guys see him around or hear him, give him your best wishes and a little sign of support. He can always use it. He was a little bit down earlier today, but I'm hoping things will kind of smoothen out, hopefully. Gogli says, you had substantially less subs than me less than 3 weeks ago, and now you have 100 more than I did. Scogli, you're talking about me? Wow, I guess I need to look. It's probably my Star
229.
Oh, well, that's good, I guess. Still not as good as Jill, but
I think it's your Tuesday ones.
Yeah, I think it's my Tuesday because that stream is really popular, the horror stream. And also my Star Trek blooper reels, I think. Some of the Star Trek outtakes and blooper reels, I think, are helping. And welcome, PBB. So good to see you, PvP. PBB says, hi, guys. And Scogli says, yes. Lemon Pie says, hello, Picker. And Scotty says, hey, yeah, PvP. And PBB says, is there a link? Oh, that's right. And PBB says, hi, Scotty. Let me get that link posted in the chat. Thank you for the reminder, PvP. Let me do that now. I'm flying by the seat of my pants tonight. I apologize, guys. And okay, next, before I forget, without further ado, I wanted to welcome and say a wholehearty hello, and I missed you, to Scotty R37. How are you doing, Scotty?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you. Missed you last week. Glad to be back this week.
Absolutely right. And it was, especially because we're down to so few Star Trek animated series episodes, I was thinking if we could just make it through this, it'd be wonderful. I just posted a link in the chat if anybody would like to join us. And Gorilla, how are you doing, sir?
Well, besides my little rant there in the backstage there, pretty good. If anybody's wanting 2 feet of snow, the pickup can start beginning on Thursday there if the roads are open.
Oh, wow. You still in the deal with all that snow?
No, we got a blizzard coming in. We're expecting anywhere from 11 to 26 inches of snow.
Wow, send that our way in California. We need the water. And Jill, how are you doing, Jill? Let me highlight Jill here so you guys can see her instead of covering up her wonderful face. Jill, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. I do need to step away for a minute, but I'm excited to talk about this episode.
Same here. If there's anything you need to step away for or do, just that's absolutely fine. We can keep the mass entertained. Hopefully, they won't start throwing tomatoes at us, but I think we're safe and in good company.
So far,
Yeah.
yes. We haven't done anything egregious yet.
Right.
Yeah, well, they might start throwing eggs again because I was actually kind of excited. I found, and this is pretty pathetic that I was excited. I found eggs for $2.75.
Oh, that's good.
Jeez. Yeah, I won't. I don't. I know there's no way I'm going to find them for under $5 ever again in California. So if you
No,
want to
but
throw
I
eggs
think that's
my way,
pretty.
go for it. I could use it.
Yeah, but that's pretty pathetic. That I was excited for eggs that are $2.75.
I know, right? You never thought that day would come. At least
How much?
this soon.
How much are they regularly?
Regularly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before all
Before everything took to shit, I got them for like $1.09.
Oh, okay.
They're going down there. That's good. That's at least a
But,
good sign.
Last time I bought eggs, they were $5.50, and that was on sale. So I was like, I was treating the eggs like a damn Wagyu steak.
Yeah, me too. I bought a dozen for like $6 and something, and I'm trying to make them stretch. I only fix one at a time.
That's why I
PBP's
haven't
is
made
high,
my brownies in a while.
Oh well, there might be if you look. There might be recipes for brownies that you can make without eggs. Lemon Vice's picker might be asking to be on the panel. Yes, Gorilla.
I just added
You gonna
it.
say something? Okay, Pleasant
just
Valley
added
Picker says
it.
hi,
Pleasant.
Lemon, and PvP says hi, Scogly. And I'm by the way, everybody, I'm going to try to keep up on the chat tonight. I know sometimes it gets a little out of hand, we get busy, but I promise I will try to shout out to everybody here in Lemon Pie. Haha, just teasing you, Picker. And there's me saying join the panel. There's the link. Go ahead, Gorilla.
Yeah, and hey there, Lemon. Oh, Lemon was saying hi to me, so I was saying hi back to Lemon.
Yep, fair enough. And PvP says, I just got back from the laundry room 5 minutes ago. Great timing. All right, fantastic. Lemon Pie says, Jill has transported in. Yes, she has. And Jill's going to be possibly on and off. She's dealing with some issues there, but she will be back. And when she does, we will be getting started as soon as possible. And I mentioned before in previous streams, and I'll mention it again, that this is episode number 20 of Star Trek, the animated series. In total, they only made 22. So after this, we'll only have 2 left. So I'm going to try to ask you, the listeners, because you're here and you guys mean the most to me more than anyone else. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth on what to cover next. And I haven't quite decided, but the 2 top picks that seem to be that everybody's asking for is either Batman the 66 series with Adam West or perhaps the original Lost in Space. So if you have a preference of one of those, go ahead, Gorilla.
Is Batman 66 a comedy?
Yes, pretty much. Have you ever seen any of it?
No. We'll go with a lot. Comedy is hard to review because, yes, I understand that they're trying to be funny, but then again, it makes it hard to go through. Like, we were having trouble with the Gilligan's Island there for a while.
Right. And it's not outright comedy like it's a laugh track and like a sitcom. But it's very campy. It's a campy type humor to it.
Well, my idea when I reviewed the Orville was to cut out as many of the jokes as possible so that when people rewatch it, they can enjoy that comedy aspect while only bringing in whatever was needed for the plot or what was important to learn about from the episode.
Excellent.
Yeah, but Jill,
yes,
it's kind of impossible with Gilligan's Island for cutting out the jokes.
Oh, that's because I haven't reviewed it.
No, that's okay. Well, with Gilligan's Island, sometimes, right, when I show the slides, I show the subtitles, so it's unavoidable. But and like I explained to the viewers, there's a lot of jokes because it's packed with so many that I don't cover them all. So I intentionally leave that open. Yeah. Don't want to ruin it for anybody. Lemon Pie says boo.
So,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so Jill wants to cut out all the jokes on Gilligan's Island, so she wants to do 3-minute reviews on them.
Yeah, basically. Probably more like 10 minutes. I could probably figure it out.
Yeah, am I in the? Am I here?
You're here, PvP. Sorry, you're
Oh,
covered by.
I wasn't sure.
Also, I wanted to ask, do I sound better than I did backstage?
You sound amazing.
You
Yes.
sound great, Jill.
Hey,
Yeah, you
yeah,
just
I had
want to make the intro.
Did you get a new microphone or something? Or?
no, I just disabled my microphone and re-enabled it in
I see.
Device Manager.
Okay. No,
Very cool.
everybody sounds fine actually.
Oh,
Loud
I'm
and
glad
clear.
to hear that. That
So,
definitely easier on the ears for the listeners.
Yeah, hopefully.
thank you.
Jill, what do you have to share with us about Albatross?
Albatross. All right. So it first aired on September 28th, 1974, and it was written by Dario Fanelli.
Yeah.
And what's surprising to me is that I find this a really great, a good episode. And it's weird that it was written by somebody whose only other work is a movie called Scorpio 70, which didn't look like it did very well. I don't really know much about that movie, but I want to know more about this writer because the way he writes this episode is really great. Considering DC Fontana is nowhere around, he does a really good job. And I guess we just start off with the captain's log. Stardate 5275.6, preparing to beam aboard the Enterprise following the successful completion of delivery of medical supplies to the planet Drania in the remote Dramian starship system. And it's always good to meet a new species. And here we meet the Dramians.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is from the
Cool.
animated series book. So here's some of the sketch art for that. And they're orange with elongated fingers, kind of
I like
tentacle.
that design.
Yeah, it's something a little more unique.
Yeah,
I have
it's unique and
an
something
issue
they
with their
probably couldn't have done
fingers.
in live action. Issue with the
I have an
fingers?
issue with their. Yeah,
What's the
Okay.
you
issue?
can't. Well, what, how are they supposed to do anything with curled up fingers like that? That long?
Then they
It's
can wrap their fingers around them.
It's interesting later on when we see the person who comes or the alien that comes aboard the Enterprise. It does show that they sort of curl in, like they sort of all come together when they're not really in use, and then they spread apart when they're being more dexterous and using controls and stuff. So I thought it was really as a cool design.
Well,
And remember, an octopus is very effective at wrapping its tentacles around its victims.
I imagine their technology would be adapted to their fingers anyway, right? Their
Yes, it
controls,
would.
would probably be, would work for their physiology.
I would think so.
And so,
Hail, Captain Finity.
yeah, hey, Captain Infinity, and hello to the chat. They're thankful for the supplies, but they drop some devastating news that they have a warrant for the arrest of Dr. McCoy because they believe his mass inoculation program led to a plague that killed hundreds of people on Drania 2 19 years ago. And
Yeah,
this is... Go
that
ahead.
was a bit strange that they were thanking them profusely one second, and then the next second they were, issuing arrest warrant from McCoy.
Right. It was almost like a trap or something. But
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
the main problem I have is that if the Federation approved the warrant, why didn't they give the Enterprise an idea, a heads up about it? And so, based on this action, we assume that they extradited justice from the Federation to this race of people, these aliens. That's the strangest decision in this episode, given the swift nature of their justice system. And
Yeah,
speaking of justice,
that was the only issue I had with the episode, really. Otherwise, I thought it was a pretty good episode.
Oh yeah, I know. I really like it.
One thing I wanted to mention is this installment apparently contradicts the writer's director's guide for Star Trek, written in '66, which describes McCoy as having joined Starfleet only in middle age after he was divorced. That would mean he couldn't have worked on Andromeda 2 during his early adulthood. Since this is never definitely stated on screen, there is some room for wiggle room, I
Debate.
guess.
Wiggle
Debate.
room.
Is there a possibility that he could have been a doctor but not yet in Starfleet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Possibly,
That's
yeah.
true.
Maybe private practice or something.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I love that. That contention there. Good work. And so this is the Hall of Justice.
Meanwhile,
Colorful.
back at the Hall of Justice.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that design. Looks like it could take off.
Yeah, it's kind of psychedelic.
Very Jetson-y.
Very colorful, yeah.
Hey, that looks like a nice, like someone was on a nice acid trip when they designed that. They built that.
Well, this was early 70s, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, pardon me. Then, okay, they're on a good LSD trip.
Well, yeah, but that may lead to problems of trying to draw within the lines, I'm guessing.
Actually, kind of looks like Mac from Mac and Me.
I really,
Sponsored by
really-
McDonald's.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Captain Affinity's comments here.
Oh, okay.
Scotty says, "Hey, Captain Infinity." Lemon Pie says, "Captain, howdy." Scotty says, "Beg pardon, Captain Infinity." Captain Infinity says, "Scotty, cheers." Captain Infinity says, "Lemon." Captain Infinity says, "Even better." Lemon Pie says, "Welcome back, Jill." Yeah, we're so glad to see Jill back. Lemon Pie says, "Hi, Gorilla." Captain Infinity says, "Where's Chekhov?" Lemon Pie says, "Anton, Captain." Oh, Captain Infinity says, "I never forget a face." Scotty R37 says, Botany Bay, Botany Bay. Oh, no. Botany Bay, damn, we've got to get out of here. And Captain Infinity says, "That's a warrant for Alec Baldwin." Captain Infinity says, "Dr. McWuhan." Yeah, I was thinking, once again, there's a lot of parallels to this episode in modern day. Captain Infinity says, "Ask McCoy about gain of function." Hot topic.
And that's why this episode's getting an F, is because it's reminding me of the last 3 years.
It's all their fault, darn it.
Well,
Go ahead.
I really love the fact that you found a contradiction in this episode with the Star Trek Writer's Guide, because I found a lot in favor. A lot of this episode actually follows the Star Trek Writer's Guide.
Nice.
But I guess, at least the way I see it.
Well, yeah, well, do share whatever you have with us when the time
Yes.
comes.
I'm impressed that this writer has almost no other credits, and he pretty much nails the characterization of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy pretty well.
Yeah,
I think so
it
too.
seems
Yes.
like it seems like if he was, faithful to canon for the most part, he must have really done his homework before he wrote it.
I can't
Yeah,
find any information on him.
We found that a couple times in this series where they just had some brand new writers. Remember the one that wrote the story out of high school that was published? Remember? So,
Right. Yeah, remember
yeah,
that
this
one.
isn't the first time we get some really devoted people who love Star Trek and they come up with a script right off the bat. That's what you call hit the ground running people.
Yeah. Wish we had a few of those around these days.
Yeah, we certainly could use it.
Well,
That's how I feel
anyhow,
about this writer.
yeah. According to Lemon Pie, Alex says that phaser was handed to him loaded. Captain Infinity said they said it was set for stun.
Yeah, I guess it was set for stupid.
Yeah, that's how. That's how I feel about this writer. Even though I can't figure anything out about him. I feel like he is a fan, even though he's made a couple of mistakes, like McCoy not being in Starfleet yet, when he got in trouble for this, and not.
Oh yeah, I can
filing
forgive that.
the deal with that. Yeah, but the characterization is good here. Kirk is outraged. Spock is rational, saying it might be a coincidence. And Bones is heartbroken about all those lives lost. And he considers very seriously that his actions might have led to their deaths.
Oh, take that, Dr. Whatever her name is from TNG.
Crusher?
That's it. The one with the phaser blaster who's shooting all the people and then blasting them
Oh,
twice. Just to make
that's
sure.
not. Don't worry. pop culture curator. That's not
I
Crusher.
know.
I believe it's
McCoy-
qualified as the filth, and we don't discuss that
Yeah,
well. We discuss
McCoy-
proper Star Trek.
Yeah, I love McCoy
Yeah.
much better. McCoy's a really. He's
I
got
was
a
gonna
good
say, what did Crusher do? I want to hear this, but no, not that one.
heart.
He questions himself with the lives of the other people involved, and this is exactly how I think he'd behave. And Spock explains the plague. Spock says, "Hey, pop culture, do you want to read what Spock says?" Here,
Absolutely. Let's see here.
it's in private chat.
Oh, there
I
it is.
feel like a fool. Where's my private chat? Okay, I'm clicking comments, and I see the main comments.
It's on the StreamYard private chat.
I'm on StreamYard right now. Banners. What?
I'm seeing it.
I know. Usually
No,
you
I'm
have
seeing
the.
it.
Yeah, usually you have when you click comments, you have the public, and then you have the private, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. All I have is the public.
Huh.
Oh, hold on. I got it. All right. Oh, sorry, guys. In fact, I guess this is a testament to you guys know how often I don't read the private chat publicly. Spock says plague, Dramia 2, of unknown origin, characterized by pigmentation, changes in skin of victim, debilitation, death. Certain species known to have natural immunity, notably Vulcan. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's the plague that's been that infected Dromia too. And Scotty, could you read the captain's log?
Oh, for sure. Captain's log, stardate 5275.8. Underway for planet Dramia 2 for investigation of McCoy case. We are beyond subspace communication with Starfleet and proceeding under my own authority.
Yes, the Dramians know how Kirk is going to Dramia 2, so they're going to follow them along.
Yes. It's really too bad in TOS that they did not cover more of Dr. McCoy's background before he met Kirk and Spock.
Yeah, that would be really great to know about this. And this is something that maybe hints at his past.
Yeah.
But we don't get to see too much of it. Maybe he was traveling around trying to help and then realized, oh, this will be much easier if I actually just joined Starfleet.
Yeah, maybe
That's
like
what
a
I would-
missionary. Maybe like a missionary, huh?
Mm-hmm. Doctors Without Borders kind of thing.
Yeah, I always wish that there was more McCoy in TOS. I mean, he was, even though he was one of the big three, he was still kind of relegated quite often in the episodes.
Oh yeah. He wasn't in. He didn't even get his credits until the later seasons.
Yeah.
And I love the design of this ship. It resembles the aliens.
Yeah, and then there's actually in the book there's some concept design art for the ship. So here's that.
Oh, very cool. A lot of detail.
Wow, that's a lot of different variations. Wow.
Yeah, different concepts.
Yeah, so there actually isn't much in the book about this episode except for this really cool artwork.
Hmm.
And it says, actually in this scene, Kirk decides to leave the hangar bay door open to allow Deimos aboard, the other alien who's trying to try McCoy for the plague that killed hundreds of people. And I love this because they even discuss the risk they're taking, that he could attack before going through with it, before actually opening the hangar bay door, because that is putting the ship at risk.
It is.
Deimos
Well,
tells Kirk
Go ahead.
he isn't allowed to investigate Dramia 2.
Yeah, I was going to say that they said that hundreds of people were infected and died, all except for one. And they said
Well, they
almost
don't know about the one yet.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they said it almost devastated the planet, which means the planet was not had very many people on it.
Right, just hundreds of people. Because I guess it was just being colonized, possibly.
Possibly, yeah, that's what I was thinking, which makes it even more devastating.
Yes. And it says here that for the first time in TOS or TAS, the Enterprise shuttlecraft doors were seen opening from outside the ship.
Ooh, true. And not until the movies. Star Trek 5, I'm guessing, right?
So
The shuttlecraft?
The doors
Yeah.
opening from the outside. Wasn't it
Yeah,
Star
that makes
Trek
sense.
5?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Sulu crash landed the shuttle.
So Damus tells Kirk he's not allowed to investigate Dramia 2, and Kirk promises to report his conduct to the Federation, but of course he can't do that now because they're out of range. And since Demos invited himself aboard, he must remain as a stowaway. So I think that was kind of a clever and very funny way to do it, the way it's presented in the episode. If you watch it.
Yes.
That was good. Yeah, I like that. Your ship is impounded.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he was jumping up to fly into the Enterprise there.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he should have known Kirk would be up to something.
Scotty, could you please read the next captain's log?
Captain's log, stardate 5275.9. We are approaching Dramia 2, where we hope to find the answers concerning the question of Dr. McCoy's guilt or innocence. Situation normal. Aurora reported in the sector, however.
Yes. And there's the Aurora.
And there it is. Psychedelic.
Yes. So this might be a small thing, but I really like the fact that when they go down to this alien planet, usually when they go down to alien planets, there's almost no difference between the Earth's atmosphere and the planet. So I'm pleased that they have this planet have a little bit higher radiation.
Yes, that makes sense. A little bit of variety there. In fact, there's Scott even mentioning it. Are you sure it's safe, Captain?
Yes. And then we got to get some more fabulous artwork. I have to check, but I'll have to check something. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
Apologize.
Captain Affinity says, Doctor, gain of function shows up and 3 million aliens buy the farm. Sure, Spock. Coincidence. Sure, Janice. Gogley says, set phasers on suck. Oh no, Spock's got one of the Klingons in a Vulcan lip lock. Lemon Pie, PvP will throw eggnog and not tomatoes. And Captain Affinity says eggnog. At those prices, PvP got a really good sale on that stuff, so we wisely stocked up on it.
Yeah.
And Lemon Pie says, I understand he got quite a deal. Yes.
Very, very good, yeah.
Captain Affinity, he drank the savings.
Oh, there's still plenty left, believe me.
What do you mix it with, brandy?
I've been using bourbon this weekend.
Nice. I have a good friend who was just gifted a bottle of whiskey that cost like $1,000. Can you imagine?
I
No.
can't actually imagine that.
I
Wow,
know.
that's a lot of cash. Wow.
It is, but he says if it helps, he said it's smooth, whatever that
Well, it
means.
better
I'll
be
never know.
smooth.
Yeah, I'll never know what smooth is. I guess everything I drink is pretty rough.
Yeah, well, I got some decent stuff. The Evan Walker, whatever it's called, on sale. It was on it for $1.50 off, so I figured, what the heck, I'm going to treat myself for a change instead of buying the cheapo stuff.
Why not? If nobody else is going to treat you, do it yourself, right?
Well,
You
it was
earned
only
it.
like a buck and a half more, and I thought, hey, for $1.50, I might as well enjoy it, right? So
Absolutely. In fact, it's so expensive here. I can't remember the last year that I actually purchased it. It's so high in California. Then the
yeah,
price is now I want eggnog and bourbon. There you go.
I don't buy bourbon too often because it's high priced here too now.
How are things, guys?
Oh, I thought I froze up.
As did I. I was checking my router.
Oops. I don't know what happened. I guess I kicked myself out of the stream. Are
Well,
you?
I kicked
Yeah.
myself out on happened.
Yeah, it said something failed here, so I just re-entered.
StreamYard is going crazy. Maybe there's some kind of bug going on and they're trying to fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got to be StreamYards because so apparently it happened to all of us at the same time.
yeah. I was all of a sudden I couldn't hear any of you guys. Everything just went quiet, and then I noticed StreamYard had said something went wrong, and it had the little white screen with nothing on it, and so there was just a little button to push, which I pushed and came back in. But it's happened to me
Yeah,
about 4 times now in the last month and a half or so, I'd say.
Well, my internet's working fine.
Yeah, same here. The first thing I did is I looked at my internet and it says that it's fine. Gorilla and Scotty, you might want to refresh your avatars, but now we're getting the default.
Yeah, I think the internet seemed to be okay, but StreamYard died. Yeah,
I'm able to share my slide now.
Lemon Pie says Jill is back.
I am
Resolute Germ. Hail, Resolute Germ. Resolute Germ says hi all.
Hey, Germ.
And Lemon Pie says hello, Germ. PvP says internet died. I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah,
hello,
it was
Lemon.
just gone.
Jill, step away from the airlock, says Lemon Pie.
Oh no.
Lemon Pie picture is up there twice.
Well, I didn't know I was.
Oh, well, you got a celebrity here. Captain Pity says this is trippy. Yes, it is, Captain. Okay, so we got Gorilla's icon back, and now Scotty. Scotty, can you hear us, Scotty? Tell me you can hear us, Scotty.
Oh.
Scotty's probably working his way back up to the airlock.
Maybe he needs to re-push the button.
Re-push the button, right?
Go out and go back in. I think that's what he's doing.
Skogly says it's too bad we can't hear him twice. Then we would get an echo.
Yeah, I've got my YouTube sound off as always.
So I imagine you guys already talked about this artwork here depicting the barren planet and ruined buildings. I think it's really well done.
We have not, cool. And I agree though. It looks great.
Yeah, I just mentioned it looked very desolated, so it was very appropriate. Yeah.
Welcome back, Scotty.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome back.
I think we had
that was wild.
Scotty.
I think we had a burp in StreamYard, Scotty. It knocked us all out for a second.
Yeah, we were all gone for a bit.
I got sucked into the Nexus.
Eggnog, nog, says Lemon Pie. Yeah, but I was saying just before we all got booted, we've only got 3 episodes left of the Star Trek the Animated Series. So if you're listening, I treasure your opinions among everybody else. If you guys would like to vote in the chat, I already have a poll, by the way, on the usual poll on your grade of this episode. But I'd like to verbally ask you if you get a chance to respond in the chat if you think we should cover the Batman 66 series with Adam West or the original Lost in Space series. It'd be nice to get your opinion in the public chat if you could respond. Okay. And that way I can, because I need to start, whatever it is, I need to start preparing for it.
I would be happy with either of those options because I want to fill out my science fiction that I haven't seen yet. And I love Batman.
Yes, same here. And Lost in Space, it's not as serious sci-fi as Star Trek, but it's still generally a good show. It's not as much of a comedy outright as Batman. So they're 2 good shows for 2 different reasons.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they cross paths a little more in the 2nd and 3rd season, but well, it's still worth watching.
Season 1 is actually fairly serious of Lost in Space. It's actually quite good. I like it a lot, actually, because there are some really good episodes.
Oh yeah, and I love the cliffhangers.
Cliffhangers.
You don't get those anymore.
And they have the next week's show.
Well, no, now because every episode is a cliffhanger now, so it's lost all meaning.
True.
Oh yes.
But I mean, as much as I love Batman.
Right, Jill, if we do cover Lost in Space, you'll see how those were really good cliffhangers. They're reminiscent of the old movie serials of the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
Captain Finity said he tried turning it off and on again. I think he did.
I like when a cliffhanger reminds me of pulp novels.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Because it leaves you to wonder, but until you see the next one, how they get out of this. It seems almost impossible. Exactly. So we got 1 vote so far for Lost in Space from PvP. And we got a new subscriber. Oh, wow. Hey. Kurt Hugger 01. Thank you, Kurt. If you can hear me, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt
Wow.
Hunter.
Yeah,
Cool.
hopefully.
You know,
Go ahead, Jill.
No, you go ahead. That was
I was just saying, Kurt Hugger, I hope you enjoy what you see, and I have a lot more if you'd like to check out what I have. Thank you.
So it's gotten so bad on this planet that the other Dramians are considered outsiders. So here's one. I love this line from Deimos. He says, "The distinction here is between the world of the living and the world of the walking dead."
I like
And
that. Yeah.
you're right, because this is on a children's morning cartoon slot.
Right. It's very spooky and grim.
It is, and it doesn't talk down or sugarcoat the devastation that can occur when a plague nearly wipes out a world. And so there isn't much death in the animated series compared to the original series. So I'm really enjoy this concept is brought up by Dario. So, and it's pretty intelligently presented too.
Yeah, that's
I
what's great
completely
about the animated series. It's really not written for kids at all. It's written for anyone of any age to watch and enjoy.
Were you here last week?
Yeah, I was for a time. I think I got here.
Right.
Well, was there one last week?
This last stream week before last, wasn't that the Practical Joker?
Yeah, the Practical Joker was written more like a Saturday morning, and the one before that was also written more like a Saturday morning.
Actually, I think I missed Practical Joker, actually, Jill.
Yeah, Bem and Practical Joker were very Saturday morning cartoony, and this one takes us back to Star Trek.
I missed Bem, and I really wasn't too upset.
Well, I recommend if you get a chance, go watch the rerun on the.
Is it that
Practical Joker? Funny? At least, if you don't want to watch Bem, watch the rerun on Practical Joker if you get a chance.
Okay, but yeah, Bem is probably my least favorite of the entire series when I think about it.
Interesting.
So
I just found Bem was kind of silly.
Yeah, he's a colony creature.
He's a colony creature. Yeah,
that's my favorite part of the episode. I can forget the rest.
Okay.
I have to go attend to my daughter, so I will be right back very soon. But they're following the Dramian creature. He leads them to a cliff face and a cave.
Right. And here's where they're searching after, they're following him, and they're told, as a result of Dr. McCoy had inhumane methods. So as it stands right now, they don't understand the compassion. And I'm guessing they don't understand. I mean, they're obviously upset because 20 people died, but they don't understand that McCoy did it unintentionally and he would never go out of his way to hurt people. So I like that they start out very upset before they really get to know the doctor, which is what an alien species would do. Unless they knew somebody, they would think automatically that it was a hostile action or maybe even an act of war.
Yes.
Yeah, they would just assume that it was McCoy's fault, not some other possibility.
Captain Finity says, I hear there's a new show featuring the captain from Star Trek TNG. Yeah, it's called The Golden Ghouls. So, also a reminder, if you get a chance, vote in the chat. I have a poll on if you'd like to give your rating or your grade for this episode. You can rate it any time, or you can wait till the end if it doesn't decide to close itself like it sometimes does. I seem to be having that issue with StreamYard. StreamYard doesn't like me, and it'll just close my polls out of the blue. And Captain Vinny says, I'm on the wait list for an opinion donor. Well, there's no short supply on Twitter there, Captain.
People are offering them left, right, and center.
Right, whether you want to hear them or not, yes.
Yep.
And I like this because the alien looks more zombie-like.
Yeah, and he is the lone survivor who was treated by Dr. McCoy 19 years ago, but does attack because apparently they are Earth people who are responsible for the deaths.
Oh, yeah, that is why this alien attacks, but he is not the lone survivor.
He's not the lone survivor, my mistake.
No, Deimos explains how the inhabitants of this planet are still here on the planet. He says he, like the others who remain here, was away at the time. So these were people who settled, but they were away from the planet while the plague was happening.
Yes.
And then they returned to the planet to find that their families had succumbed to the plague. He and a few others, senseless in their grief, chose to live here in desolation. You see, Captain, there were no actual survivors. And that's when...
that's when he shows up.
That's when he shows up, after Spock and Deimos pull the pull the guy off of Kirk. And you're wrong. There was a survivor. Cold Tie is the survivor. And he arrives just at just the right moment to counter this claim.
Right.
Saying,
Out of this entire planet, right? Good, thank
Yeah, right.
goodness.
yeah, thank goodness he was nearby. But conveniences are fun, and they happen a lot. Saying he survived the plague, and he also says that McCoy couldn't have caused the plague because he saved his life when he treated him for saurian virus. So a healer can't be a killer, according to him.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, he turns out to be McCoy's friend, right? So that gives us hope that McCoy's going to be okay.
Yes,
Right. And there's the
Right.
first mention that part of catching the disease is the changes in pigmentation in their skin.
Yes, they return to the Enterprise where the ship passes through the aurora.
I love that line.
I'll pour on the coal, Captain.
That was a great line.
Yes.
And we have sick baby. We finally get Janice Rand. Nurse Chapel. After I don't know how many episodes it's been since we've seen her character.
But they pass through the aurora. Yeah.
Pow 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 pow.
What's that? Scott?
Usually when they pass through them, it goes pow pow pow.
Oh. So then, of course, Call Tai falls ill, and so do the rest of the crew and passengers, except for Spock, because earlier they established that the illness did not affect Vulcans. What Vulcans were doing around this planet, we don't know.
Exactly right. And
Well,
what a coincidence! Thank goodness.
seems those
Yeah.
Vulcans are immune to just about everything anyway.
Thank goodness.
Spock is
No, there's some
very often
conveniences
immune.
in this episode, but I don't mind it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it all works. It works. It works well.
So then, because everybody's getting sick, we have Captain's Log by Spock. If you could read it, Pop Culture Character.
Yes, I'll be faster, but I'm better this time. Spock, Captain's Log, Stardate 5276.4. We are in orbit around the planet Dromia under the conditions of general quarantine. As commanding officer, I have ordered the activation of General Order 6.
Yes.
Let me see. I'm assuming it's a quarantine general order.
Yes, I think it's really great writing. I appreciated the creation of this general order to explain how Spock will self-destruct the ship in 24 hours if everyone has perished because of the illness, to protect the lives of anyone who comes into contact with the Enterprise.
Which makes sense, but I would think Spock would maybe equip a shuttle for a long-range trip before he destroys it. But he could be a carrier at this point, right?
That's the problem. Yeah, so Spock might have to destroy himself with the ship.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, Gorilla just posted in the private chat. Can you guys hear me?
No,
I guess
we
not,
can't hear
Gorilla,
you,
no.
Gorilla. I'm so sorry. Oh no,
It must
Gorilla,
I can hear you.
Must be
Gorilla, I had to
something
drop
there.
out and then I had to leave the stream and then come back in. That's what
Yeah.
made it work for me.
Yeah, maybe try doing that, Gorilla.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Oh man, I should have realized he was being.
Good old
Sorry about that,
StreamYard, eh?
Gorilla.
Man, StreamYard's been doing some weird things lately.
You take 1 week off and all of a sudden they change all the rules.
Engineers.
Engineers, they love to change things.
Maybe they
Yeah.
did an update.
Can you hear me now?
There you
Yes.
are. Yes.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, okay, because I've been saying stuff for like the last 5 to 8 minutes, and then someone else will start talking like you're ignoring me here. Because I was gonna say a few scenes back there when Kirk was first going into the hole there, I was saying that's just proof that Kirk will go into any hole. and there you're talking about how Spock was immune to this. You know, my kid asked it, well, why doesn't he change color? I told him, well, the long story short is Vulcans are assholes, and that makes them immune to about anything. And
I'm
the
guessing
proof
maybe
of
it's his
this,
blood.
and the proof of this is at the end of the episode where Spock is a complete dick to McCoy.
But that's the natural order of Spock and McCoy. They play with each other like that.
What, the
Yeah.
Vulcan's an asshole, so therefore he's immune to everything? That's the natural order of everything?
Remember now, they're still friends though, through and through.
Yeah,
It's just, right.
no, but
Spock has a different
I,
outlook on life.
but I think I'm onto something because it seems like whenever there's a disease going on around the ship, Spock is always immune to it. And Spock is kind of a dick. Even though he's supposed to be emotionless, he is kind of a dick. A logical dick.
Logical dick.
Yeah, he does
Well,
seem a bit emotional when he's.
I don't think exactly that he's not trying to upset anybody. He's just telling it like it is, and what he says is getting at the heart of the matter to do what it takes to get something done, not really realizing what emotional impact he's imparting.
Right. I don't think you realize that it sounds unsympathetic.
Exactly. Like he might make you cry, but he doesn't mean to.
He doesn't intend to, right? He just like Jill said, he just straight up tells you what's going on, and it's up to you with your human fallacies how you can cope with it.
So then we have and although I guess he does understand a bit of sarcasm, though that much is clear.
He has proven that, yes.
Yeah.
So Spock is left to command the ship, and I give it a pass that he's the only one who's really able to command the bridge because the ship's already in orbit with the planet, so we have everybody still at their stations, even though they're really sick.
In reality, if everyone was to die, including Spock, wouldn't the ship just continue orbiting the planet for years and years and years?
Well, it depends. It depends on how much it requires. The ship requires the crew to be
Adjust course?
active to adjust the course, because eventually the ship will just crash into the atmosphere.
You would think so, spiraling and maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I would think eventually it would have to. Yeah.
If so, then we're going to have all those Starlink satellites eventually come under Earth, right? I don't know if they have any self-propulsion devices to them. I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was watching a map earlier of how many are up, and they've got the whole Earth surrounded, almost. So let's hope we don't get the ping pong effect.
Yeah, there's lots of satellites up there for sure.
Yeah,
Lots
all it takes
of
is one.
space.
All it takes is one to bump into another, and we are screwed. Yeah.
Yeah, space debris are an astronaut's worst danger up there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a real
absolutely.
problem, actually, isn't it? I mean, there must be thousands of objects up there.
There is garbage, everything, right?
Yeah. Actually, that would make an interesting show to have a crew that went around collecting
Quark.
space garbage.
Quark. 1970s comedy
Quark?
TV show starring Richard Benjamin called Quark.
Oh, but they didn't collect garbage in orbit, did they? Or
Well, around space, so I'm guessing it included orbit.
oh, okay. I thought it was more of like an interstellar kind of. I remember though it was pretty goofy comedy.
It was. It only lasted one season.
Yeah, I watched
Richard
it. Though.
Benjamin is not much of a starring actor. He's usually a co-star,
Yeah.
so I think that was
Yeah.
part of it.
I've
wasn't
heard
bad.
good things about it.
It wasn't bad though. I thought it was kind of good, silly fun.
It was okay. It was kind of cheesy.
I think
Yeah.
Clobby likes it, but I'm not sure.
It's almost a parody of Star Wars because it came out right when Star Wars was big, and every studio was making a Star Wars copy. I remember even one of the alien ships looked like Darth Vader's helmet.
What was the name of what's the alien's name? Ficus?
Ficus was the plant, right? One
Yeah,
of
he
his
was
crew
the plant
members.
guy. Yeah. That was
Which,
pretty
if I remember, I think that's the same guy who played Gary on The Thing. The guy who was the officer on The Thing who was in charge, if I remember
Oh,
right.
jeez.
So
The movie The Thing, guys.
I'm amazed I actually even remember that.
So Spock converses with Dramian on the planet, asking for McCoy to come and find the antidote to heal the crew. He's refused. So Spock, assuming, okay, so this is a point where he's assuming he's not a carrier, that he can't spread this illness because it's not affecting him.
Yes.
So he decides he's able to go rescue McCoy. And he does with the neck pinch to the guard.
Right, and this is highly right, and that's what even Bones points out is this is highly irregular because basically they're messing with the Prime Directive.
Yeah, McCoy is outraged about this because he wants to face justice to see if he was really to blame for this. And Spock promises that that'll still happen, but that he needs to find an antidote. And that convinces him in what I think is a kind of a clever turn of phrase from, you know how he usually says, I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer or
Right.
escalator. But this time, since it doesn't make sense to respond that way, there's a flip of the phrase, and it's very subtle. He says, I'm a doctor, Spock. A doctor.
Yeah.
And
Now I got a question here. You said this was a violation of the Prime Directive, but they already made contact with this civilization and had interactions with them on several occasions. It's been established here. So
yes,
therefore,
and
how would
they
that?
also have warp travel, ostensibly.
Right.
Yes, I agree
Right, Gorilla.
completely, Gorilla.
Right, Gorilla.
Yeah.
I specifically was talking about him helping McCoy escape rather than face justice. But as we all know, Spock has a good reason for this.
Yeah. I don't think it would be exactly a violation of the Prime Directive. They'd just be violating that planet's internal laws
Well, back
instead
to
of a violation of the Prime Directive. Because the Prime Directive violation would specifically be interfering with the culture of a pre-warp society and making contact with the pre-warp society.
it's free warp only.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
okay.
they're also not
Yes, that's right.
they're also not members of the Federation, I don't think.
No, I would definitely say not the way that they treat their prisoners. There would be no way they could make it into the Federation. But I do have to be right back.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
So this could be either just basically a violation of the extradition treaty, or if you want to go further, it technically could be considered an act of war. But
That's
it'd
what I
be
was
more
thinking.
like
Right.
Yeah, he
But-
is breaking McCoy out. It's a jailbreak, basically. So
It is a jailbreak.
that's pretty illegal, I would think, on any planet. You know.
But the good
But
thing is, which does help Spock's case, is yes, he's doing this kind of selfish to save the crew of the Enterprise. But remember, there's a couple of those aliens on ship that are also sick, so he's there to save them as well. And Resolute Germ says space debris is an easy cleanup job, but expensive. It's cheaper to let the satellites get damaged and risk everyone's lives. Oh yeah, so true. So, did you guys vote in the chat? Did you guys vote for Lost in Space or Batman 66? Sorry to sound like a broken record.
Well,
For us
you know
old
how
folks
I voted already.
Right, for all those old folks that know what a broken record is.
Oh, there's a new one. Just
sorry, what's that, Gorilla?
We're just typing our answers in.
Oh, I vote Lost in Space just because that way because comedy for me is real hard because I want to nitpick it so bad, because I'm in the like I'm trying to analyze the damn episode, so therefore I might want to nitpick it. Or the 1960s humor is a lot different than the more modern humor.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And
as much as I love Batman, but it is pretty kitschy.
and Lost in Space is also kind of keeping with our sci-fi theme. I guess.
It's more Batman's not really sci-fi. I mean, it's superhero stuff, but it's
Right. Maybe
borderline
we can.
sci-fi.
All right. Maybe we can cover Batman after we're done with Gilligan's Island. Save Wednesday for our comedies. What do you think, Gorilla?
I don't know. I don't
Go ahead.
like after Gilligan's Island. I might want to do. I was thinking maybe do something a little bit more serious, where we're not ruining the jokes of a show there by the nitpicking and all that. Kind of like how I do my Walton's reviews. There's a reason
I agree with you. Right, everybody. What Gorilla's talking about is very true. It's not easy to get through Gilligan's Island. There's so many jokes, and you don't want to ruin them. When you say something, everyone knows that humor flows naturally, and when you try to set it up and describe the way it's delivered, it deflates it. So it's very, very difficult. And
there
ahead, Jill.
are science fantasy elements in Batman, sort of sci-fi, but they don't have to make sense.
Oh yeah,
Yes, exactly. It's very
there's
campy. Yes.
sci-fi like the Batmobile, and some really
And the
cool
gadgets, right?
little gadgets and tech. Yeah, that's kind of sci-fi.
And what makes the Batman series so well is his roster of villains. I mean, that's what makes it so exceptional
The
and
villains
memorable
are
to
fun.
everybody.
Yeah, the villains were fun.
Right, especially because at the time there was some top headlining stars that were they were clamoring to be on this show. They had big
Yeah.
names clamoring to be on that show. Even Frank Sinatra wanted to be on it.
It was one of the big hits for those 2 seasons, so right? I mean, it was a
Well,
huge
yeah, it was
show.
a big hit, but not only that though, but for Star Trek, it was very cool and groovy at the time and hip to be on that show. So they were all clamoring to be on there.
Yeah, I still remember the one of Vincent Price playing Egghead. That was pretty good.
Yep. Rezo Germ says, yeah, 60s humor is way more intelligent than today's. It is, right. It is.
And that was something I was noticing when I was watching Man from U.N.C.L.E. this past weekend, is that the writers of these episodes expect a higher level of intelligence from the audience than they do today, referencing things like Shakespeare and basic history.
Oh, all that would be lost on current audiences. You're so right, Jill. That's a testament to our
Well,
education
no,
system.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's the underestimate. I think
Well,
because writers are underestimating the audiences, they're creating the.
I think back then they just
Well, you're
didn't
right.
think the audience was intelligent.
Well, Jill
Well,
is right
Jill-
about that too, because now, I mean, even then when they or for example here, when they wrote things that even when we were kids, like I didn't understand all the Shakespeare references and all that, but it made me want to learn these things and look them up,
Exactly.
and I learned a lot
Yeah.
because it gave me that interest. And Jill's right; they just write for the common denominator, and it doesn't give you the interest of wanting to look further.
Yeah. Well, it's like Conscience of the King, for instance. I mean, that was a great episode.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, in all fairness, back in the 60s, they didn't have fluoride in the water.
I think it has a lot to do with the educational system, actually.
We also
Well-
didn't have labels on our pillows saying "Please don't eat this."
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, pop culture, I got one better for you. Next time you go to Walmart, go into the.
Assuming I go to Walmart.
Okay, go to any store that sells curling irons and look on the back of the package. It says for external use only.
Okay, I promise you, Grilla. I'll meet you at Walmart tomorrow in the feminine hygiene aisle. How's that?
Hey, you want me to send you a picture?
I have to be right back.
Go for it, Jill.
Go, Jill.
Sorry.
She's going to check the box on her curling iron there to see if I'm right.
That is pretty funny, though. Well, isn't it something about batteries now? Some batteries have labels: "Do not drink the contents."
Everything has a label. It's sad.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, we can solve a lot of the world's problems if we just stop taking warning labels off of shit and let the problem solve itself.
Yeah, that's true, right?
There'd be a lot less stupid people around.
I'll mention this really quick, and because Jill's gone, so we need to kind of fill in. But there was an actual lawsuit where a woman went to buy contraceptive jelly at a store, and she bought real jelly instead of contraceptive jelly. And then she sued because she ate it and made her sick. But fortunately, she lost the lawsuit.
Hey, I can do you one better there, pop culture. There's a lady, she went out and bought herself a new RV there, and as she was driving it down the road, she put it on cruise control, decided to go back and make herself a sandwich there, and the RV went off the road and rolled. She sued the RV company for not putting in the manual that you should stay behind the wheel while on cruise control. She won the fucking lawsuit. She won the fucking lawsuit. She got $1.75 million, and they had to give her a new RV. And this is being quoted from the company's lawyer, from the RV company's lawyer. Walk out of the courtroom that right now it's getting put in the manuals right now as we speak, in case this dumbass has any relatives who wants an RV.
Yeah, she should have realized that cruise control isn't the equivalent of autopilot.
Well, that's not the part the fun or that bugs the shit out of me is the fact that you won the fucking lawsuit.
Oh yeah, that's the worst thing. It should have been thrown out of court.
What are you guys
Or-
talking about?
A frivolous
Lawsuits.
lawsuit. Frivolous lawsuit.
Oh,
Yeah, ridiculous lawsuits.
Yeah, for people doing dumb things because they shouldn't have because they should have common sense.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's you want to go back to the episode?
Yeah, I'd
Yes,
love
that-
to.
Okay, so
Jill.
when
I don't know. I
when,
got a few more lawsuits I could talk about.
okay,
Much more. Unfortunately, yeah, we've got to talk about Star Trek.
unfortunately.
And hey, Canadian Spider-Man, I'm glad you could join us.
Oh,
Hey,
Spidey.
Spidey.
hi.
Hola, Canadian Spider-Man. Hope you're
Yeah.
enjoying yourself south of the border.
And Resolute says fluoride makes you retarded. That's why they stopped giving it directly to school kids. Then good evening. Hey, and
I'm
welcome.
sure it's fine.
Was Sean here earlier? Or otherwise,
believe-
welcome,
yeah,
Sean.
said hello earlier. Yeah, so
Hi,
good to
Sean.
see you there. So I used to
And
work
he's-
for Heinz Ketchup. We got served one day with a lawsuit. Some dude filed because he broke his tooth opening a ketchup packet from Wendy's.
Boy, he must have had weak teeth.
Yeah, weak teeth, I know, right? Yeah. And by the way, the
And
lady that ate the
fingers.
contraceptive jelly got sick and pregnant, and that's why she sued.
Because that's what happens when people are illiterate and can't read where the tear here
Sick and pregnant.
line is.
That's like a punchline to a bad joke.
Yeah, you know chocolate milk really burns when it comes out your nose.
Right.
I literally just took a drink when Pat Culture said that.
Canadian Spider-Man says that. Hail Jill and Scotty, hail to all. So good to see you, Spider-Man.
Hey, Canadian Spider-Man. Welcome to this show. Yeah, Gorilla's having an aneurysm.
Apparently. Okay, so none of the computer records are bringing up anything about this plague because McCoy's readings are all over the place because of the aurora, and he's complaining about this out loud. So Kirk, even though he's really sick, he manages to refocus the doctor on that parallel between the aurora's colors and the changing colors of the crew, and it's
Sure,
never
Mike.
explained how the aurora's colors manifest in an illness in the crew, but that is okay because we never really figure out what this illness is. So we realize that it's a thing that happens. We don't know exactly what it is or how it's happening. And sometimes it's okay for things to be left unexplained like this.
Yes. And
Well, and that would that mean that
hi, Canadian arachnid man? Go ahead, Scotty.
I was just going to say, was it because the initial inoculation for the plague was that because it had traveled through the aurora, and it sort of somehow altered the molecular structure of it, and then when it was given to the people on the other planet, that's what infected them?
Well, I wonder because it says later in the episode that the aurora was a reoccurring thing, I believe,
It does, yeah.
every so many years. So wouldn't they have had plagues previously to McCoy arriving?
Well, and
Yeah, that's a good point.
that's why I'm wondering if it was due to the travel between the two planets that caused
wondering-
Right,
Perhaps
because of
maybe-
right, I think it was traveling through the aurora and then bringing it to the planet, perhaps.
exactly,
Well,
yeah.
Could
Cool.
could it have been McCoy's inoculations of the population triggering it?
But I feel like it has to be this has to be the first instance of this plague. Otherwise, they would have had a recurring history of this in their past.
Yeah,
And they wouldn't have just blamed it on McCoy.
yeah, exactly.
So when McCoy has Spock check the symptoms without adding the color changing, then he finds something. But this is the part where we're not exactly sure what he comes up with because he never really says exactly what he finds. So we never know what illness this is exactly, except that it has no known antidote and that it gives Spock an idea. And even though I'd like to have been given the name for the plague, I like the fact that they have such little information on it and still they come up with a way out of it.
Yeah.
Because Spock recalls that Kull Tai, the only survivor of the plague, was treated by Dr. McCoy for the Saurian virus.
Oh, so McCoy's treatment saved him then. Okay, great.
Yes,
Sure.
that isn't clear earlier, but now that correlation is being
So McCoy's a
revisited.
hero.
Yes.
Right. That's what changed the opinion of the other aliens, and they found out that McCoy wasn't actually intentionally trying to hurt anybody.
Mm.
It's not said whether this is the saurian virus, but that it's possible that the saurian virus antibodies provided immunity. And so oh no, I hear echoing.
Uh-oh.
Well, I swear I'm muted.
I think maybe Jill was. It sounded like something crashed on Jill's channel.
I don't
She was,
know.
I'm
Okay, I'm not
hearing any
echoing
echoing now.
I don't know what that was. But
Yeah.
it was like when I was ordering from the restaurant earlier.
Hmm.
Their system was echoing back at me. It's not said whether or not this is the saurian virus, but he injects everyone with the treatment, and everyone recovers very quickly, even quickly enough for the next captain's log, Scotty.
just like Star Trek, right?
Captain's log, stardate 5276.8. Preparing to beam aboard the Enterprise following the Dramian ceremonies honoring Dr. Leonard McCoy for his significant achievements in the field of interstellar medicine. I sound more like a sportscaster than I do Shatner at this point.
Well, you would make a good sportscaster, though.
All I'd have to do is like sports.
Well, you could always just commentate on the Puppy Bowl.
Yay, I'll do that.
Yeah. And welcome, Matt G.
Hey, Matt G.
Oh, Matt G, good to
That's
see you there.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch up really quick. PDP says, a hail at Canadian Spider-Man. And Scogly says, cheers, Spidey. Canadian Spider-Man says, I took fluoride directly in elementary school for years. Damn, we all did. Teacher gave it to us. Wow, I've never heard of that. Canadian Spider-Man
we
says,
did.
Scogly, yoked and hail, buddy. And Sean Carter, good to see you. Yeah, hey. And Sean Carter says, and to think that lady with the jelly ended up raising a kid, right? I wonder if she named the kid, huh? Canadian Spider-Man says that lemon pie, good evening and hail. Absolutely. Sean Carter says, hey, Canadian Spider-Man. Matt G says, Jill. LOL, Antiderivative Jill. Matt G says, hello all. And Canadian Spider-Man says, Matt G, good evening and hail. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Matt G says, hello. Canadian Spider-Man says, I like the cartooning. The artwork is way better than computer crap. Well, I'll tell you this, computer crap I'm not a fan of either, but I can tell you this, it's better than South Park, at least in my opinion. Matt G says, LOL. Matt G says, basketball, football.
Oh, come on. I like South Park.
Well, computer art can be good, but the problem sometimes is when they get lazy and they use templates so that every single character has the same exact form with no variation except in their face and their hair, and that's annoying.
Yeah, and there's no imagination anymore, no creativity.
What makes the animated series so great is that every episode you have different looking aliens and different kind of configured ships, and it's constantly changing from episode to episode, so they're always creating something new, right?
Yep.
Which I think is great. That's one of the reasons it's such a fun show.
And so after all that, the Dramians are now thankful for the crew discovering the antidote to this illness. That's that it'll show up again when the aurora passes, but now they know how to treat it. And they both forgive each other and everything, and we're good.
And we're good.
We must apologize.
Right. And which is it's a delightful ending with jabs from McCoy to Spock.
And look what color McCoy's wearing.
Yeah.
That is a mistake.
Definitely.
Yeah, just slightly, right? Unless he was suddenly promoted without us knowing.
Well, that's because that's because Spock is being such a dick to him. He didn't want to even be seen in the same color as him.
Well, think about it, that's a practical joke you could play on the people when they're beaming up. You could have their clothes changed. They could beam up in a dress for all you know, right?
Oh boy.
In their underwear, right?
Well, there's one of the O'Brien at Work's comedies there. He beamed his farts into Picard's ready room.
You know, one thing, it's another mistake, is it says at the end it's directed by Hal Sutherland again.
Yeah, they do that. in every episode, even though he's not around anymore. They're all directed by Bill Reed.
Yeah, even at the start it says Bill Reed, but at the end it says Hal Sutherland. It's like, oops.
For me, it was kind of a straightforward episode, but it gives me all the little things that I need from a Star Trek episode, including a moral conundrum that McCoy feels like he needs to face up some potentiality that he might have killed hundreds of people, and he's ready to face the consequences of that. It has, Captain Kirk's cowboy diplomacy, where he takes advantage of being out of range of Starfleet and to save his friend.
Hello, Matt G says London Pie.
And he takes a risk for that too. And Spock is used perfectly every time. His responses are measured and logical. And I feel like I'm just praising the show for doing things right, but it just that is what I'm doing. It may be a little by the numbers, but it's really refreshing to see someone take the animated series seriously again after the first couple of rough episodes.
Yeah. Okay, I got a question though. Why was this titled Albatross?
I have the answer.
Okay.
The title Albatross is most likely referring to the metaphorical usage of the word albatross that has its origins in Samuel Taylor Coleridge's poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, where the albatross symbolizes a psychological burden that feels like a curse. In this animated TAS story, Leonard McCoy is in sort of similar way haunted by the possibility that his actions may have, in fact, somehow caused an outbreak of a disastrous plague that completely eradicated the population of an entire planet.
Yeah, so the albatross is the burden that McCoy feels at potentially harming somebody.
So we get another nice literary reference like Trek so often did back in those days, which was nice.
Exactly, and like I said, it makes you want to look it up and learn more. Exactly.
Yeah, it makes you want to grow, right?
Well, and also just to give a little bit more in terms of the authors and the creators at the time, both for the original series and the animated series, these guys grew up without television. Like these guys grew up with, and girls grew up with, what did they do for entertainment? Well, they read books and they went to like the cinema. But whereas modern writers and creators, they did grow up on television and pop culture. And I think that's part of the reason why in comedy or even in science fiction, it is more reliant on pop culture as opposed to the more literary influences of the past.
But what I want to say,
right.
Oh, but what I want to say though is that I'm about the age of these writers, and I have some literary.
You are an exception, Jill.
They went through school. They were told to read these books, but I do know what happened. Cliff Notes came around, and people just stopped reading.
I have met many people who say, "Read a book. Why should I read a book? They used to make me do that when I was in school." And I'm like,
Oh no, exactly. And I'm not forgiving it. I'm just sort of giving the reference for it.
Yeah. But you're right. That is
welcome, Chris.
What happened?
Welcome, Chris. So good to see you, Chris Longfellow, or AKA Meringue.
Hey, Meringue.
But I feel like I want to give it an 8 just for doing everything right. But I think it's just I might have been exposed to the film too much. So I feel like this is probably a solid B+ in actuality.
Very cool. And Canadian Spider-Man says, I agree, Jill. It is refreshing to see such good animated artwork. And there's Chris saying, hello all. Yeah, so glad to have you here, Chris. Thank you for joining us. Right. I do have a poll, like I said, everybody in the chat, if you'd like to vote on your grade, what grade you would give this episode. And I will close the poll now, assuming that everybody's voted. If it hasn't closed itself. Okay. Nope, it hasn't. All right. So I'm going to end the poll. And then I'll share the results on screen here if I can. Please ignore all background interactions by my pooches. So Jill, is that your official review, Jill?
Yes.
All right, gotcha. So Gorilla,
tell us about your review. There's a lot of clever conveniences that make certain plot events possible.
Right, you got to wrap that story up in 25 minutes. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and that is a major issue with the animated series because they only have 20 minutes to get the story out, so I can't blame it too much for that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But from what I've heard about the new stuff, that's actually more coincidental in many places. So, and they've got more time to tell the story. So go
Oh
figure.
yeah, lucky they hadn't already packed away that communicator badge in the museum or wherever.
Yeah, with the endless battery, and it happened to be right next to the car when it went off after 20 years and all that.
Hey,
You made me do it.
no, but on
sorry.
that note here, that box he had that communicator in, that looked like something you just store on the shelf next to your desk as like a memorabilia thing, not something you keep in an attic or anything. Susie, that specific case he had it in, it's like, this is a memory. It's very happy to me. I'm gonna keep it on the shelf next to my desk here.
Well, if it's such a
Behind
good
me.
memory, then when he heard the chirp, he didn't know where it came from.
He was cataloging things to go to the Fleet Academy or the Fleet Museum, though.
Yeah.
Edge
So
of Time,
that's why it
welcome,
was
Edge
there.
of Time. Good to see you, Edge of Time. No one told me it's Doppelganger night. Does somebody have two avatars?
Yes, you do,
Yeah.
and PvP does.
Yeah, we have double
Interesting.
avatars in the.
On my end,
in
it
the
only
on
shows one
YouTube.
for each. I wonder what the difference is.
No, go and look on YouTube.
Hey, Herc.
That's
There's
so
two each on
funny.
YouTube.
Yes,
I
you're
didn't
right.
know that.
Let me
Yeah,
try
I know. I
redrawing
noticed
it.
it a while ago. It's kind of bizarre.
It must have been when StreamYard had that hiccup. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For all you, yeah.
It must
I
have been
redrew
the
my
ones
screen and it still
when the
has two of
channels
them.
died. They just froze on there for some reason. It seems.
That's fairly entertaining, though.
No, I don't mind.
Welcome, Herc130. So good to see you. Lots of familiar people in the chat tonight. Yeah, wonderful crowd. Canadian Spider-Man says, at Chris, good evening to you. Canadian Spider-Man says, at Herc130, hail and good evening, bud. And Canadian Spider-Man says, Edge of Time, hail, eh? Canadian Spider-Man, Herc130 says, Canadian Spider-Man, any pan flute players there, or is the pandemic over? LOL. Oh, that's a reference to yesterday's stream where we could hear pan players in the background. They were having a parade, I guess, in Mexico. Lemon Pie says, hi, Chris. And Edge of Time says, que pasa, Spidey? And Lemon Pie says, Herc. And Lemon Pie says, howdy, Edge. And Edge of Pie says, hi, Lemon.
Hey, Edge of
Herc130
Time.
says, hey, Scotty, I hope all is well with you, Scotty.
Thanks, Herc.
Lemon,
It is.
Lemon Pie says, Picker cloned himself. It was an inadvertent result of excessive eggnog consumption. There it is. Which one's the real PvP? That's the
I'm
question.
so glad to be fodder for endless jokes.
Yeah.
Well, you
So
did
Gorilla.
need 4 pounds of eggnog. It's going.
Hey, $1.22 for a liter and a half. How can you turn down that price?
Yeah.
Especially when I can just throw it in the freezer and keep it for months, right?
Yep,
But-
exactly.
Well, PvP, there's only one good place to put an eggnog, and that is down the drain.
Well, I disagree. I like eggnog.
You're not a fan of
Well,
eggnog, Gorilla?
Well, did
I'm
you
not
see
either.
Did you see my short on that eggnog seltzer I had?
Well,
Ugh,
yeah, that does sound terrible, though. But I'm talking about eggnog
Yeah,
itself. You
eggnog
don't like
seltzer.
eggnog?
That sounds gross.
It does.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. I had to have a few chasers with that fucking thing.
I don't think I'd want seltzer or anything, to be quite honest.
No. Oh, no. Gorilla, so what's your opinion and or grade of this episode?
Well, let's see. The hands are just bothering me on the whole thing. They're long and curly. They're Spock was an extra dick to McCoy and all that. Yeah,
Well, he wanted to make sure everybody got their vitamins. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, let me finish here. We had the LSD lights there. They're going on through part of the episodes. There. I still don't understand how they're not part of the. How they. No one mentioned that there's the damn treaty with the damn episode there. The title of the episode didn't make sense for dumbasses like me. There. And plus, this whole episode reminded me of what we went through the last 3 years. There, and that's a memory I want to forget. But you know what? Screw it. I'll be generous here. I'll be nicer than Jill. I'll give it an A-.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
You guys thought I was gonna give it an F, weren't you?
No, I thought you were going to go for a C.
Oh,
Yeah, I wasn't
Nah.
expecting an A-.
I can nitpick it, but still enjoy it.
Yeah, F
The
is usually
only
the
reason-
default.
But I did degrade it there because it's a pandemic episode.
God, and it's a little depressing at this point, I guess, to be reminded.
Yeah.
PvP, tell us about what do you think about this episode? What's your grade?
I'll give it B plus. I enjoyed it. It was a solid episode, well written, uh, which is interesting considering, as Jill mentioned, that this guy doesn't seem to have ever written much else. So yeah, that was cool. Anytime you get a McCoy episode, excuse me. Oh, I had to cough there.
No problem.
Anytime you get a McCoy centric episode, I always enjoy that because for me, I think McCoy's personally probably my favorite character in the series. As much as I love Kirk and Spock and everybody else, I do enjoy McCoy's honesty and his emotionality. So yeah, I thought it was overall a really good episode.
And what grade would you give it? Or did I miss that?
B plus.
B plus. Okay, Scotty, what say you? What do you think?
I'm going to give it a B. It is better than the Practical Joker and Bem, but that's not difficult. I like all the McCoy stuff with it. It does seem a little fast and loose with what Kirk and Spock were doing, but I like what Jill said in terms of it being Kirk sort of exerting his cowboy diplomacy in terms of being out of range with Starfleet. Everybody seems to be doing their jobs, which is always a nice cornerstone for any episode of Star Trek. So yeah, I would say it's about a B. It's about a B.
Very nice, very nice. And I would have to say I'm going to give it a straight up A. You know, normally I give everything an A plus because I'm impartial, but I think the fact that this centers around Bones or Dr. McCoy, it always seems to give the episode a little more heart. His character is much more sympathetic, and I can identify with him the most. I kind of agree with PvP. I think he may be my favorite character in Star Trek.
Yeah, I relate to his emotionality.
Yeah, and his character up until Star Trek 6 was pretty much sidelined in a lot of the movies. We didn't really see him. He didn't have the big role, you know, like he was there to add comments and everything, but it just seemed like his role was diminished in the TOS movies, at least in my opinion.
Did you know that it's been about a year since we last did my first live stream on Leonard Nimoy? I mean, not Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly.
Oh, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, because we started streaming right about February or March. Yeah, thank you, Jill.
You're welcome. Yeah. So
Yeah, for all you guys out there, right? Check out Antiderivative Jill's channel, and you'll find it. It's an excellent homage we paid to DeForest Kelly, who we cover some of his background, some of the things he did other than Star Trek, and his life, and some of the things that he did at Star Trek conventions.
And our favorite McCoy moments.
Our favorite McCoy moments.
Fun.
Oh, it's a blast! It's we need to eventually do one for Kirk and one for Spock, maybe one for each of the characters. I'm going to do that for Gilligan's Island. I'm going to do a homage to each of those characters.
I do need to do that, but I care about them so much. I need to prep it first before I decide to just do it. I want to read some of their biographies, autobiographies.
Agreed.
For Spock, that would be I am not Spock, and then I am Spock.
Right.
But this Friday, I might be celebrating my 1-year anniversary for that.
That will be fantastic.
Yay.
Yeah.
So you're YouTubing there coincides with the Russian war.
Wait, I'm sorry, Gorilla. You're kind of crackly. I don't understand the question.
So you're one.
Yeah, we're getting a little static. So
your mic's kind of breaking up a bit.
This better?
It's a little better, but there's still some popping.
Oh. Well, so Jill's
that's
YouTube
better. Now that's better.
Yeah, that sounds good now.
Yeah. So Jill, your YouTube career is coinciding with the anniversary of the Ukraine-Russia war.
Oh.
Because it's coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war.
My my actual 1-year anniversary was February 15th. I just am celebrating a bit late because I didn't realize it happened.
Close enough.
Yeah, I hadn't even realized that either until you mentioned it. But I do appreciate that. Lemon Pies is hurt. The rate of consumption is only speculative at this time. Lemon Pies is actually, I'm a little jealous. I wish I had a ton of eggnog squirreled away Same here. Lemon Pie says Pop is cloned now too. I know. I don't know what's going on, but I do really apologize. Especially if you guys are listening on the rerun, you're probably thinking what's going on.
Yeah, it's StreamYard
But
acting like StreamYard.
yeah, I think this would have been more appropriate for the Practical Joker episode. Canadian Spider-Man says, "Whoop whoop, 1 year for Jill."
Yeah.
Lemon Pie says,
Yeah,
"Antimatter Jill," and there's a link to Jill's channel.
Antimatter Jill.
Thanks, Lemon.
And I'm going to go ahead and show the results of the poll if it's kind to me, which I hope. There we go.
Moretz?
And there we go. It sounds like somebody's got a kitty there. It's wanting some attention.
Yes, that is my kitty cat. That is not Russ.
It's okay. All right, where's my poll? Let me find my. There they are. There. Okay.
There it
What
is.
grade would you give the Albatross? So we got a total of 11 votes. So and we got 81%, which is B plus to B minus, which is excellent. I love that. A plus to A minus gets 9. C plus to C minus gets a 9% also. And D plus to F minus gets a 0%. I'm glad to see that nobody disliked the episode. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if anyone had given it an F.
Yeah, it seems the majority of us were in the B range, so that's good.
Absolutely. And Canadian Spider-Man says, kitty, kitty, kitty. Canadian Spider-Man says, there are 9 cats here at this hostel, so no mice. Oh, I used to rent a room in this house where they had mice.
Oh,
And I said, why don't you guys get a cat? Well, we don't like cats. And I'm like, oh, my God, but you'll take rats over mice? Oh, or over cats? Oh, well, that's in the past.
Yeah, by all fairness there, Pop, like my cats, they wouldn't know what a mouse was if it came up and kicked them in the ass and go, hey, I'm a mouse.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of kept kitties who aren't so good at hunting.
Yeah.
A little too well fed, I guess.
Yeah, I guess if they're too well fed all the time, they maybe lose the instinct after a while to hunt.
It is. It's overfed and too domesticated.
Mm,
Too much love.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so I wanted to wrap this up by saying thank you, everybody in the chat for joining us. Like I said, after this, we'll have, unfortunately, only 2 more episodes to go.
Yeah.
So please vote when you get a chance. In fact, what I'll do is I'll tell you what, you guys, I'll put a poll on my community tab in my channel about Lost in Space and Batman. You're allowed to vote there. It'll give you a while to give you a chance to think about it instead of expecting a spontaneous answer from you. Canadian Spider-Man says, I wonder if a cat would chase a Tribble.
Well, I don't know about a real Tribble, but I did try it on my cat, and she was not impressed, or she didn't do anything about it. And this was a Tribble that purrs and everything.
Oh, I was going to say if it makes noise and moves, but I guess not, or at least shakes.
Yeah, it did. It shook and everything, and so I guess maybe the body heat wasn't there, so
Right, she's looking at you like, Mommy, what is this? It's not even real. Captain Infinity says, my 2 pops. Scotty R37 leaves a link to his channel. Oh, and thank you, Scotty.
Cheers.
What am I thinking here? I forgot to put everyone's links in the chat. But let me do that because we're about to plug everyone's channels.
Speaking of Phantasmagorium show, Scotty, are you and Jill going to be continuing reviewing Picard this week? Or?
As far as I know, and as long as Jill is joining, yeah, I think we are.
Okay,
I'm still joining.
Just wanted to ask because I'm looking forward to the return of Quantum Leap eventually, whenever you guys decide to go back to that. I watched the first episode of Picard and was not very impressed.
When are you going to stop reviewing the field so you get back to Quantum Leap?
Well, I don't know. I was neutral on Picard's episode 1. I didn't think it was awful, but I certainly didn't think it was good either. So.
Well, I start on the baseline that it's not Star Trek and go from there. Is this a good story? Yeah. Is it good science fiction? Is it all the things I go from that level so that I can be objective.
I just thought it was very slow paced and the writing was mediocre at best. So, yeah, that's my review.
And there's a link to everybody's channel there. If you're watching this on a rerun, I highly recommend that you check out these wonderful, intelligent people. Their channels are even more entertaining than mine most of the time. So there's a lot
Oh,
to learn and enjoy.
speaking of channels, it's going to be my 4th anniversary on YouTube in 4 days.
All right. Well, then okay. It's time to have your first live stream, right?
Yeah, I need to figure that out, but I'm going to be working for the next 3 days, so I'm going to have to figure it figure it out Thursday night, I guess.
Well, I'm here if you need any help, PvP.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah,
I'll
maybe
set some time aside if you'd like.
Thursday evening would be great then, because I'll probably be done around 7 o'clock.
What do you
that
mean,
night.
like the 4 years since you signed up for YouTube?
Yeah, 4
Okay.
years since
Like if I went by that I would have a very different number.
Oh yeah, I remember. It's been so long ago.
I guess this would be like my 18th anniversary then.
Well, you guys have probably been on longer than I have. Yeah, I mean,
Is there a way to look it up?
Yeah, it's in your about. It says when you joined.
yeah, it's on the about
Oh.
page. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's February 24th, if I remember correctly.
There's a link to Captain Infinity's channel. Everybody, please check out
Holy.
Captain Infinity's channel.
Yeah, so I've been watching YouTube for 17 years.
Boy, you guys have been on a long time.
I know I have. I bet I was on for a long time before I even created an avatar and an actual name and an
Yeah.
account.
Well, the thing is, I guess I watched YouTube, but you couldn't leave comments unless you had an account, I think it was. So that's why I signed up eventually, so I could actually chat, right?
Yeah, that's possible. I
So,
don't remember. It was so long ago.
I've probably
Like,
been
it could
watching
be.
it for probably 6 or 7 years, actually, when I think about it.
And Canadian Spider-Man says, good night, folks. Good night, Canadian Spider-Man. Well,
Good
night,
night.
Spider-Man.
eat some tacos for me.
Night,
And
Spidey.
Canadian Spider-Man says, thanks for the show. It is our pleasure to have you here, Scotty. Captain Infinity says, thanks, Lemon. And Lemon Pie leaves a link to Gorilla's Random Thoughts channel.
Yeah, thank you, Limit.
Okay, so let me get this set up here. I'm still a little rough around the edges of this, so bear with me, everybody. Jill, when you want to tell us about your channel before we go?
Sure. Tomorrow on my channel, we're going to be reviewing Star Trek, the original series episode Space Seed. So that's a pretty integral one.
Oh,
Very
that F of
legendary
an episode?
Yes. So please join us and tell us what you think about the episode in the chat. And I also reviewed lots of other science fiction movies and series. I've reviewed all of the Orville so far. Word is out. The question is still out whether we're going to get a season 4. But I've heard there's some rumblings around about it, but I don't really know the details.
Yeah, but I heard that they're trying to sell off Hulu.
That's what I forgot. You're right. They're trying to sell. It's okay. So that's going to have an effect apparently.
Really? Wow. Why are
So
they selling
Disney's-
off Hulu?
Disney is selling
Because they're
Hulu.
going broke. They went
Right,
woke and they go broke.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
well,
it's interesting
that's-
because they were just not
makes
long
sense.
ago they were considering buying out the rest of the shares from Comcast, but now it's totally reversed.
Wow.
Well, when
Okay,
you're
that could be
yeah.
good.
I
When
do kind of
it's
wonder
not-
about the whole streaming phenomenon, really. I don't know
Yeah.
how long a shelf life it's going to have, because I
well,
still think physical media is better.
if they're stock, when your stock drops about 80%, you're in real deep waters right there.
Yeah, well, if they're producing shows nobody's watching, yeah, I can understand why.
It sounds like something that could be very good for the Orville and for Seth MacFarlane. And Herc130
Well,
asks,
I hope it lands somewhere, even if it's on another channel someplace.
Herc asks when I'm doing Space Seed. It's going to be tomorrow
There
at
you go,
noon Central.
Yeah.
So she
I'll have
says
to
noon,
rewatch.
so it'll probably be about 12:45.
Yes. You know me too well.
Well, depending on where you are, right? For me, it'd be 10:45, but yes. Scotty R37 says tomorrow, Herc. Lemon Pie says Resolute Germs link is in there we are in the chat. Thank you, Lemon Pie, for putting these links up. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. Scotty, tell us about your channel if you'd like.
The Phantasmagorium Show. We have covered all of the James Bond movies, a wide variety of Quentin Tarantino, like the entire Tarantino, and a couple of side missions there. And right now we're going through Batman. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Batman Begins, and we're going to be joined by Ben from Cinema Gulp. And then, so long as no one throws themselves in front of a train, we'll be reviewing episode 2 of Picard season 3. On
Don't you know
Thursday.
it was the airlock? Remember?
Now, Scotty, I got a question. Does it have to be a train? Because that means I'd have to travel about 15 miles to go wait for the train to come by.
No, it doesn't have to be a train. It's the airlock, as Jill said. She's absolutely correct,
Okay.
as usual.
I was just wondering if it could just be a regular semi because the highway is 5 houses down.
Yeah, or a bus. There's buses going down the street here all the time. So
Oh, we don't have buses. Well, we do have a community bus, but that's one of those you call them and they come pick you up. Then if you're
right.
if you're within 7 miles, it's $2. 7 to 14, $3, and then 14 to 21, like $4 or something like
So
that.
it's like a shuttle bus kind of thing then. Okay.
Yeah, it'll take you anywhere in the county.
Cool. Well, we have a regular bus routes all over the city here because I don't know what the population is now. It was about 165,000 when I moved here 8 years ago, so it's probably getting up to close to 200,000 now. So it's we got a pretty good bus system.
Oh, your town is about 1,000 times bigger than mine.
Okay, well that makes sense then.
Well, actually, probably about 10,000. Yours is probably about 10,000 bigger than mine. Our census is our town is at 1,694. No, wait, scratch that. The lady down the street just died, so we're at 1,693.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful until you have to go to a Verizon company store, right?
Yeah. Then they fucking don't calculate in 3 damn miles and tell you you're not within a certain range of one.
Well, nice customer service would be they give you a little discount on your bill for having to drive, you would think.
Well, the good customer service would be just let me go to the Verizon realtor just down the road there, have them fix the damn phone, and then just reimburse them in the background.
Right, but that would just be too easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they seem to
Gorilla,
want to make customer service as difficult as possible. A lot of companies these days.
well, that's how the whole attitude is these days. It's like, their attitude is, well, if you don't like it, go somewhere else.
Yeah, we want your money, but we don't want to give you any service for it.
Exactly, right, exactly. Gorilla's Reddit thoughts. Please tell us about your channel.
Well, on Wednesdays there, we're getting down to our last 3 episodes of Stranger Things. We are on season 4, episode 6 of 9. There on Fridays, there me and Jerem review the 2 episodes or an episode of the Waltons. The next one is the Dust Bowl Cousins.
Nice.
Saturday, we are on season 4 of Babylon 5. There,
Babylon
me and
5,
Jerem
there
watch
you go.
that. Then me and Jerem also watch a movie every Sunday, and we're doing this month is the Dogs Month. Like you can see, last week we watched Old Yeller, and then next week is with some of the Call of the Wild. Then after that, we're
Cool.
going to the Matrix movies.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're
I
gonna
like
watch all
Call
4.
of Wild.
Yeah, so we're gonna be watching. Yeah, so we're gonna be watching that. Then after that will be the Matrix movies there, and apparently my shorts are very entertaining. Whether it's need ideas for supper, I got a couple of recipes on there. There's a few bitchings and moanings in there, or just funny stories.
Oh, well, what's life without bitchings and moanings, right?
Well, like what was the one that's like I wish they'd put a comment section on these ads because like the one guy says get off that treadmill or else I'll jump in this pool. Well, go jump in the damn pool. I don't give a shit.
And PvP, tell us about your channel if you'd like.
Well, I'm still just adding music playlists. I'm just doing an album at a time. I added a couple more this weekend. David Bowie's The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, which is one of my favorite all-time albums. And
There it is.
I put up Hole's Celebrity Skin yesterday because I really like that album too. I think it's pretty solid. So I got lots
Very
of albums
nice.
on there.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of variety there.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to, give a good variety of all kinds of different types of music, and I haven't added any, classical stuff or anything like that yet. I should probably do some old school country albums one of these days, maybe some Johnny Cash or something, I guess. But I pretty
Oh
much
yeah,
stick to pop rock, classic rock, punk rock, all that kind of stuff.
yeah, Dave. Johnny Cash is definitely still popular and still sells. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was. I like old school country. Like some, I don't love it all necessarily, but there's some of it I think is really good. And Johnny, he was a pretty damn fine songwriter. So
Yeah, and wasn't it just recently that June Carter Cash passed away, right?
yeah, I think it was about a month back now, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It's a shame.
yeah, yeah. It's super sad. There's been a lot of celebrity deaths over the first 6 weeks or so of this year.
Yes, just in the last few days. I mean, just the last couple of days, we lost Raquel Welch and Stella
Really?
Stevens, two
I didn't
beautiful,
hear. Oh,
beautiful
wow, I
women
didn't
from the
hear that.
'60s.
Oh,
Oh
and
wow.
Richard Belzer.
Richard
Yeah,
Belzer
I just heard
yesterday.
today that he passed on too. Yeah, wow. Man, there's a lot of celebrities dying.
Oh, the
Yeah,
finite nature of man.
yeah. There's
Yeah, but
another one. I
usually
can't
there's
remember
not
his
like.
name. There's another one that was rushed to the hospital with the brain aneurysm.
Oh
So he's
God.
probably not expected to live either. But
Yeah, those
some people have
aneurysms.
pulled through on brain aneurysms. I've seen some successful operations.
Well, I suppose if you got a really good surgeon, maybe, but well, it's dicey.
It depends on the severity, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, gee, that's wow. And
Tom
Cindy Williams
Sizemore.
died.
That's it. I had to think for a second. Tom Sizemore.
And Cindy Williams died like 2 weeks ago, and I still remember Laverne and Shirley. What a fun show that was back in the '80s.
Oh yes, that was very fun.
Yeah, man, a lot of celebrities dying.
And I wanted to cover this really quick. Herc 130 says, "I will be there. I will just tell the team I have a Zoom call with corporate and close the door." There you go. Don't get let them catch you laughing there, Herc. And Antiderivative Jill says, "Hooray! Corporate appreciates your dedication always, right?" And Scotty R37 is laughing. And Captain Affinity says, "Anyone on after this live stream, or is it me again?" I've got homework to do, Captain. After this, I'm going to be watching a Space Seed, and then between today and tomorrow, or sometime between the two, I've got to catch up on the 1956 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I need to watch it again before tomorrow's stream.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched most of it today, and I got about 5 minutes left, and it's boy, it's kind of a grim film.
Oh, it is. I'll have a lot of trivia to share about it, but there was actually a lot of humor in the original edit, and the studio didn't like that and insisted for them to cut it out.
Yeah, well, they definitely did.
Back
I
then, they
love
didn't
the I
understand
love
it.
the film though.
Yeah, back then they didn't understand the idea of having horror with humor. It was
Mm.
before American Werewolf in London and all those.
Yeah, well, you know what I think is really great about the original '56 film is there's very little in the way of any kind of special effects at all. I mean, it's all
No special
practical.
effects on a very low budget, and there's no fat when it comes to the script. It's very quickly paced.
Yeah,
It doesn't just slog along.
yeah, it's all
And
practical effects, and it hits the ground running right from the start. So it's really
right.
really entertaining.
And what's really great is, which we'll cover. I don't want to cover too much tonight. I know everybody. It's late.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much.
Right, but it had a very, very tight, short shooting schedule, so the actors were exhausted. They worked 6 days a week
Uh,
with only Sundays off, and it shows on screen. You can see the characters physically getting tired over the course of the movie, which really, really helped.
yeah, it gives it more realism. Yeah, and I think
It
Kevin
does.
McCarthy. I think Kevin McCarthy's performance is pretty brilliant, really.
After that movie, he was my favorite forever. I watched him. In fact, it was great that Joe Dante loved him also and ended up having him in all his movies, including, by the way, the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978, which we'll be covering. And Jill, I highly recommend Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We're doing the original version tomorrow night, but when I cover the 1978 version, it has Leonard Nimoy in it.
Yes, I have seen that one because of Leonard Nimoy being in it.
Gotcha.
So-
So it was it funny how you could tell that they didn't want to show him dying, his character dying, so they just locked him in a room.
Oh, is that why they did that? I didn't even know.
Yeah,
So I guess
I don't
I
know
could-
if they right. It
I
was
just
right
wanna
before he right. It was right before he signed on for the motion picture.
I just want to
That's
mention
good.
to I just want to mention to Jill that I highly recommend the '56 Body Snatchers. There is a
course.
decent, good quality copy on Internet Archive that you might want to check out if you want to, if you are going to go on Pop's stream tomorrow night.
I am always able to find what I need, but
Yeah,
thank you.
that's on Internet Archive. It's easy to find, and it's a pretty good copy.
Right, and this also speaks to all you out there listening. If you're unable to get a copy, check out the Internet Archive, like PvP just mentioned. I hope you get a chance to review the movie before I cover it tomorrow. If not, you're still invited to come to watch it along with us. And
Jill, if you're, sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just going to read these chats. Go ahead, Gorilla.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Jill, if you can find anything there, you should find me a copy of Shiloh 2 there, because I couldn't even get Pickles to find it.
Whoa, okay. Well, if LGG can't do it, then I don't know if I'll be.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
sounds
might
like a
just
pretty
not
steep
exist.
order. Yeah.
Right. No, I mean I'll give it a try if you send me a DM about the details of this movie, because I don't even know.
Oh no! Did you add me back? Did you add me on Twitter? Back on Twitter?
Yeah, I follow you on Twitter.
No, all my stuff got deleted.
Oh,
Yeah, when I try
didn't know.
messaging you, Gorilla, it doesn't go through because it's the old account.
What the heck?
No, I got the same account. Okay.
Yeah, it says we follow each other. Right? I'll test it. Testing.
I'm going to send one right now.
But,
I'm still trying to figure Twitter out. I've tried to think to
we'll figure that out later.
Right, I just sent a hello, Gorilla.
Because I'm getting Scotty's tweets the last couple of weeks now. So Scotty, I know I did manage to sign up with him, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, follow Scotty.
I'm not sure if I got any of you other guys because I'm still trying to learn it. So.
Well, mine is PC Curator at Twitter. So let me know if you're not able to find it. I'll send you a link via email there, PvP.
Yeah, email would do it for sure. Yeah, that'd be good.
Absolutely. Captain Finity, and I'll add you to our streaming group, and that way you can see when things are posted.
Yeah,
Captain Finity says, anyone on after this live stream, or is it me again? Antiderivative Jill says, just you and Clobby. Antiderivative Jill says, as far as I know. Captain Finity says, not me then. And Antiderivative Jill says, Clobby is doing Superman month. Captain Finity says, hungry for a pop culture conversation. Absolutely, aren't we all? Captain Finity says, not brain aneurysm, daily update so much. I know, sorry if it's negative, Captain. Captain Finity says, I need to find a co-host pronto. Well, Carol, you can Carol your co-host. Captain Finity says, my questions on canon remain unanswered. And Captain, you have so much experience about canon, I wouldn't dare to try to compete against your knowledge.
I would. I kid.
Scotty would. That'll give you a heated, interesting conversation there, right?
Oh no, we're copacetic. It'd be fun. We explore.
It's all in good fun. Right. It's all in good fun. All right.
Yeah, and the 7 to 35 has plenty of its own canon violations. We don't need to worry about the filth when we talk about it.
Absolutely. And as a reminder, everybody, like we said, we mentioned a little bit ago, please check out Jill's stream tomorrow where we're going to be covering Space Seed. And then afterwards, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be covering Invasion of the Body Snatchers on our horror sci-fi stream, the original. And then Wednesday, you'll catch me with Gorilla's Random Thoughts doing our Gilligan's Island stream, where we are getting ready to wrap up the first season, soon to head it into the second season, which is in full color. That will be interesting.
Hey, Jill, why do you make your name so hard to find or tight to spell out?
Intentionally.
I don't know. I decided on this name a long time ago when I was in high school and I was learning calculus. And listening to the Vandals.
Okay. The Vandals.
Pop Culture, your message hasn't come through yet, but I just turned my phone back on too.
Okay.
So it's not coming through on the computer.
Captain Finity says, not quiz questions, questions born of genuine ignorance. Captain Finity says, I haven't got a clue. Unfortunately, neither does anyone at Paramount, says Captain. You're so right about that. And hail, Admiral Teague. Hail, Admiral. It's so good to see you. We're getting ready to wrap up the stream, though. I feel really bad. But like I said, I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming here. I had a wonderful, wonderful turnout. You guys are fantastic, and you guys are the ones that make this show so great. I know we had Scogli here. I know we had Lemon Pie. We had Madman. I'm trying to go back and I've got so much chats. Lemon Pie.
Hit the thumbs up too, guys.
Yeah, please do hit the thumbs up if you like this. If you haven't already, please sub to my channel. Check out some of the other materials that I have, some of the other. And by the way, I was just telling a friend earlier, I've still got a lot of LA famous filming location videos that I made, including Vasquez Rocks, that I still need to get posted to my channel. So I'll be doing that soon now that I've added more RAM to my computer. And we had Sean Carter here, and Scotty, obviously, Lemon Pie. Scogli was here, Mad Scientist. And we had PvP, we had Canadian Spider-Man. I may repeat myself, forgive me if I do. But hey, it's always worth shouting you guys out more than once. Captain Infinity, of course, was here. Lemon Pie, which I said again. Lemon Pie, Lemon Pie, Lemon Pie. And AKA Meringue, like we mentioned. Resolute Germ, thank you for coming along and visiting us.
Oh, Chris was here?
Is that Lemon Pie? Oh, yeah, Chris was
No.
here. Yes, thank you. Chris was here as well. Thank you. Chris Longfellow is what she's referring to. Sean Carter was here. And there's Sean Carter. Matt G was here. Thank you, Matt G, for stopping along. So good to see you, Matt G.
Good night, Matt G.
Yeah, Edge of Time, Herc 130. Thank you, thank you. And of course, last but not least, we have Admiral Teague, who just came along. So, Admiral Teague, thank you for coming here. I think that's everybody. I hope it is. If I did not mention your name, please shout at me right now in the chat, and I will mention it. I don't want anybody to feel left out, because without the chat, we wouldn't be here. And Lemon Pie says, "Hail, Admiral." And Admiral Teague says, "Sorry, real life stuff." Yeah, we understand. I had a really, really rough day yesterday, so real life stuff, I completely understand. Herc 130 says, "Hey, Admiral Teague." Lemon Pie says, "Resolute Germ was here." Yes, Resolute Germ was here. Thank goodness. So, is there anything that any of you would like to add before we wrap this up?
I am good.
Can't think of anything.
I'm good too.
All right.
Pleasant episode.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. It's excellent. And like I said, everybody, I will be posting a poll in my community tab to what we should be covering next after we're done with TAS. If you're interested, please vote when you get a chance. I'll have that probably up tomorrow. So I guess that's it. So thank you, everybody in the chat. Most of all, dear to my heart, I want to thank all of you guys on the panel. You guys make this everything worth it. And I missed not having the last week. I mean, this is doing the Star Trek between this one and the one on Jill's channel, the TOS. It's a highlight of my week. I mean, I like my other streams, but these are the ones that are really close to my heart because these are the ones that started it all.
Yeah, exactly. These are a lot of fun.
And it's so exciting. No, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say hello to Sean Carter. He showed up.
Sean Carter says, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You did not call my name." Lemon Pie puts a link to Sean Carter's channel there. Yes, everybody, check out Sean Carter's channel. There's a link right there. Thank you, Lemon Pie. Sean Carter says, "Another great show, Pop. Keep it up." Well, thank you, Sean. Without everybody's being here, I wouldn't have that incentive. You guys breathe life into me, and it really helps, and it really changes my day. I wish I had a rough day yesterday, but it really helped having this yesterday. But it made me feel better. But yeah, I'm glad to have it today.
It does help get through the week. You know, if you've got a boring, tedious, bad day at work, it kind of helps to come on here and just relax, you know.
That's right. I had a great time, and for me, this is almost like therapy, to be among friends.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so once again, as a last-minute reminder, everybody, hopefully all of us, everybody we see here, please hit Jill's channel tomorrow for her TOS stream. And we'll continue where we left off. We're getting ready to wrap up the first season. I know we still have a few episodes left, but we're going to cover that little unknown episode called Spacey, right? A little known episode there.
It's a very obscure one. People forget it all the time.
Yes. I know, right? Very obscure. And, oh, by the way, I'll make this really quick. Ike Eisenman, the guy who played Scotty's nephew in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, I guess I found he's on Twitter today because he posted an image with him and Mike Connors from Mannix, where he was in Mannix.
Oh wow!
And I responded. He was really little then, but I responded back saying, "Hey, I like your work. Did you realize that you were in what to date is still the best Star Trek movie, The Wrath of Khan? What do you think about that?" And I haven't got an answer back, but I'll let you guys know if I do.
Wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, Big shout out to Captain Finity as well for being here.
Captain Infinity, and like we said, please check out his channel. All things related for time travel and I guess you could say replicants, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. The man knows replicants and time travel more than anybody else. You have a lot of detail there, and he's got an extensive body of a variety of streams. He's been going on for a long time, and it's great. You'll never get bored watching Captain's channel, and he has a great turnout of people in the panel and the chat. You'll always meet somebody new. A lot of nice people there.
Oh, I just want to mention, did anyone hear about Gerald Fried passing away like 3 or 4 days ago?
Yeah, well, Gerald Fried, I did do a rumblings from the lab on, I believe it was Friday or Saturday. I did about a 1 hour tribute to him.
Okay.
And thank you for reminding me, PvP, by the way, everybody. If you don't, that's what was funny. The poll that I put up was, do you like Gerald Fried's music? Yes. And then the first selection was yes. Second option was no. And then the third option was, who's Gerald Fried? And that one got the biggest votes.
Yeah, that was
So-
a bit sad.
Right. Yeah. He passed away this week at the ripe old age of 95. He was known for a lot of incidental music on a lot of 60s TV series. And his most influential and memorable one is the battle music from A Mock Time, where
Yeah,
Kirk and Spock are
exactly.
fighting.
Some of the greatest TV music of all time, for sure.
Right. And on my tribute the other night, I did play clips of the music, hoping not to get a copyright warning. And as of today, I haven't got one yet, so I'm happy. Hopefully, I won't have
good.
to cover that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I got a little copyright warning on my last Gilligan's Island episode, so I've got to go and deal with that and try to
Oh, jeez.
protest.
Oh, the whole copy thing is so silly on here sometimes.
It's ridiculous. It is.
Well, you know what gets me is there's all these music reaction channels where they'll play the whole song, right? And or even they'll play the whole music video, and they never seem to get. They just keep going on and on and on. They post hundreds of these videos, and they're still going. So I guess they just keep getting strikes, but I guess they still don't shut them down, right? So.
Oh yeah, absolutely right.
But I know some channels I've watched did actually disappear after a while when they were putting copyright stuff up. So you got to be careful.
You do, and you have to dispute it because sometimes it'll be something really ridiculous, like this Gilligan's Island one that I'm going to dispute next. That is extremely obscure and ridiculous, but I hope I can win it because I hate that.
It's really strange. Yeah.
I hate having to just start cutting out things.
Well, I hear there's these companies that they're not even necessarily connected directly to the copyright holders, but they kind of earn a living just by going and posting these copyright strikes on channels, trying to win these things to make a few bucks. Like, it seems kind of weird, but I have heard there are companies out there doing this kind of stuff. So.
Oh, there is. Well, I don't understand. Is it a person or is it like an AI that does it?
I think some of them. Well, there was one. There's a guy, a channel I sub to. He's a British guitarist. He's really, really great, and he's got quite a large sub base. And seems like a really awesomely nice guy. And he usually does reviews of bands and stuff. And since he knows music inside and out, knows how to play well. Like, he's a multi-instrumentalist, right? He does cover versions sometimes on his channel, and he's playing like every instrument, and he uses real instrument. Like, he plays everything. He doesn't use backing tracks or any of that kind of stuff. So he's very talented. And I remember about 6 months ago, he posted a video, basically asking, us people that watch the channel regularly to log on to this website and, sort of defend him, which a lot of us did. And, they removed the strike after a few days, right?
Exactly. You got to fight for it.
But it was like some German TV channel that filed the dispute, right? And they don't have any direct link to the artist or the record company or any of that. It was just, he used a video that, the artist had done a video back in the 80s or whatever appearing on their channel. So they filed
Of course.
over that.
Yeah, something as obscure as that is crazy. I'm going to play a quick sample of what we've been talking about here. Bear with me, guys. But that's it. I don't want to play too much and get in trouble, but yeah, remember that theme. That's Gerald Fried. I know a lot of us think of Alexander Courage, but Gerald Fried actually wrote incidental music, and that was his most famous. Although he did write background music also for Gilligan's Island, which was the most profitable out of all the series that he worked on. He made the most from Gilligan's Island, believe it or not.
I never realized that. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, that's such an iconic.
Yeah, and check this out here. I know if you guys can still see this. Look at this. Gerald Fried plays his own Star Trek medley.
Oh, cool.
So look, he does have tributes and interviews on YouTube. So I highly recommend him. The guy, and here it is, Gilligan's Island original ODD music cue from Gerald Fried. Let's listen to this real quick, and I'll cover it on my channel on Wednesday. Yeah, we all know that. All right, without getting stricken, yeah, that's a little bit of his sampling from his work from Gilligan's Island. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Okay, so I want to be sure I get caught up on the comments really quick here. Herc130 says, inconceivable at Sean Carter. Lemon Pie says, fun stream. Thank you, Pop, Jill, Scotty, PvP, and Gorilla. It is my pleasure, Lemon Pie. Thank you for being here with us. Sean Carter says, I'm sorry. All I do directed that at the whole panel. Oh, no, it's fine, Sean. Yeah, we understand. Sean Carter says, great panel. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, I feel really, really lucky to have these people on here. Captain Finity says, yep, Pops had a pretty bad day at work yesterday. Oh, I know, but fortunately it's in the past, and this stream is making up for it. Captain Finity says, for further details, tune into my stream yesterday. There you go. The master of time travel. And Antiderivative Jill says, subscribe to Captain Finity. Thank you, Jill. There's a link to Captain Finity's channel, everybody. Please check that out. Captain Finity says, goings. Captain Finity says, going live immediately after this is over. Matt G says, Lou. And Matt G says, what was for dinner at Antiderivative Jill? LOL. Oh, Jill. Jill says Whataburger, which is my favorite. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to move to Texas was Whataburger.
Oh, well.
So what's a Whataburger?
It's a burger. Obviously, it's a burger place, but the burgers are fairly large. They taste good, and they have great milkshakes.
I didn't even realize that our servings are larger. It's just the way it is in Texas.
Well, maybe it is because it's Texas, but it's the largest. I'll give you an example. It's bigger than the Big Mac or the Whopper or any of that other stuff.
I'm thinking it's a smaller chain or something like.
No. It started off as a small chain, but it's gone national now.
Really? Well, I've never heard of them. We don't have them up here, unfortunately, because most of the fast food here is kind of mediocre. A lot of it.
Right. Well, here everybody brags about In-N-Out, which is highly overrated. It's not really that good. If anybody ever tries it, you're going to be like, what? This is what everybody's talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, when I went to California for my honeymoon, I did try In-N-Out, and I was like, all right, it's burger. I was satisfied.
Yeah, right.
Burger King and Wendy's are about the best two here. Those are about the only ones I'll ever go to anymore because most of the others are just really bad.
Burger King's okay. I like the Whopper, but Wendy's has the smallest burger out of all the chains, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and the most expensive. And the most expensive out of all of them.
Burger King's the best bang for your buck because often they'll put like a 2-for-1 sale on. If you're really hungry, you can get like a couple of Whoppers for like maybe $7 or something like that. So
right. You can download the app, which the app will have specials on there, and you can earn rewards for free food.
Yeah, they have good specials.
Scotty R37 says, "What's a burger? Who's a burger?
Who's a burger?"
Lemon Pie says, "Yum." I know. I'm getting hungry now. Matt G says, "Good work at Antiderivative Jill." And Matt G says, LMAO, Lamau. And Matt G says, burger, 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 burger. Sean Carter says, pies are good at Whataburger. Patty melts are yummy. But for a good old cheeseburger, it's all In-N-Out for me. I'm guessing you mean In-N-Out. Lemon Pie says, yep, I had In-N-Out once. Sean Carter says In-N-Out. There he is. He's just correcting his spelling. Right, In-N-Out, and no, be prepared to stand in line for an hour at In-N-Out Burger and then wait an additional hour for your burger. So plan on having the entire day spare if you want to go there.
It's slow food, not fast food.
Very slow. They have lines. I'm talking about you'll find at least 36 cars in the drive-thru.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right. So people, I guess, have a lot of spare time on their hands. They open a new chain here. There's one location. They open it. It's called Raising Cane's. And I pass by it, and there's dozens and dozens of cars in the drive-through. So I'm thinking,
Jeez.
I guess I won't be trying it out anytime soon. I don't have the patience.
Yeah, when I'm hungry, I don't want like more than 3 or 4 cars ahead of me, really.
Yeah, I know it. It would be different too if they were fast. When I used to work fast when I was young, I could hustle. I was the head cook, and I could put out those burgers fast. There's none
Yeah.
of that. There's no urgency anymore. You walk into a burger place, and they're just casually taking the time from one to the other, which is really a shame.
Oh yeah, I can remember last time I went to Burger King. I think I was sitting at the drive-through window for like 10 minutes before they actually finally gave me the food. It was ridiculous.
Or even worse, where they say, "Well, can you pull over to the parking lot and wait, and we'll bring out your order?" And you're like, "Oh my god, just give me a refund then." Limit
Yeah, it
price
was
is in and out of
really
time.
slow. Yeah.
It's terrible. And in the old days, that would have been unheard of for them to do that. In fact, I remember when they used to have a timer at the window, and it said, "If your order exceeds this time, your order is free." You'll never see
Yeah,
that
that's the way it
anymore.
should be. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Carter says, "Oh, Cane's is good." Well, I don't
Yeah.
know, Sean. Maybe one of these days I'll try it, or one of these years, but I don't have all day to sit there for lunch. Sean Carter says, "Cane's is great pop. Give them a try. Great lemonade. Light and crispy chicken tenders, not too heavy." Okay. But like I said, with 2 or 3 dozen cars in the drive-through, it probably won't be anytime soon. I'm sure it's good, but it's not that good, at least in my opinion. I know we have some tired people here. I understand. So thank you, everybody. I hope I covered all the chat once again, and with trying to not sound repetitive. Thank you, everybody in the panel, and I want you guys to have a wonderful night. And we'll see everybody tomorrow on Antiderivative Jill's channel.
Yeah. Do you have the trailer for next week?
That would help. Thank you, Jill. Bear with me here just a moment. Thank you, Jill. I so frantic there that I actually forgot. Okay, so next week, let me get that queued up here. And let me make sure I mute the volume. No, we want volume this time. That's right. We want volume. Okay. Oh, I hate Windows. It keeps trying to resize the viewer for me when I don't want it to. All right, so here we go with our preview for next week. I know, I'm so sorry.
Me again, and all of your kind shall perish.
Oh, it's this one?
Captain Kirk and 3 other officers have vanished.
You fired your weapons at me.
We used them in self-defense. You fired on us.
I am your master. I may do with you as I will. I have seen you on many worlds. Savage, warlike, filled with self-hate, destroying yourselves in the end. At last, I decided to help.
And there it is. Thank you for reminding me, Jill. I would have felt terrible afterwards.
You're welcome. Yeah, Scotty reminded us in the private chat, and
Thank you, Scotty.
this
Cheers.
the next animated series episode is How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth, and so that was the trailer for that.
Yes,
I think
and
I
I hope
remember
to
that
see you all
one.
there. I hope to see you all there for that one. Like I said, there's only 22 episodes of TAS, and that is 21, so we're almost out of that. So with that, everybody, please have a wonderful night. Drive safe, stay warm. I know it's winter. Take care of your families. Be with your kids.
Yeah,
And
if anybody wants 2 feet of snow, I'll gladly give it away for it to you.
Yes, please.
Oh, I feel
Put some-
for you, man. I feel for
put some
you.
in a cardboard box and mail it to me, the USPS. All right.
Well, Jill, if you guys got 2 feet of snow, you guys would be shut down for 3 months.
Probably, but I want to build a snowman.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we haven't had
Yeah.
snow here for over a month, thank goodness.
Well,
Yeah,
if it helps, Jill, when I was a kid here in California, we didn't get snow either. So my mother used to make a snowman out of tumbleweeds.
Yeah, we have sand, so we got sand castles.
Wow.
Yes,
at
sandcastles, right.
mermaids.
Right. My mother used to make, she would get 3 tumbleweeds, trim them where they were really round, and then spray them with that fake snow looking stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
It
Tell
was
you what,
interesting.
Jill, I'll make a snowman for you.
Yeah, Scotty promised me a snowman at one point, so we'll see who can make snowman.
We haven't
Right.
had any snow yet. Not
You haven't had,
recently.
yeah, right? Okay, well, I guess
Since you
Bella's
asked.
gonna win.
Well,
Right.
Shazam.
Yeah, Gorilla,
Yeah.
we want to see it. We want to see you make a snowman. So please make sure you post a video.
No, but
Yeah.
I still want one if Scotty gets.
Oh, I'll
Oh,
post
yeah.
a video that I got the perfect song to overlap it. I got the absolute perfect song for it. Now, whether or not YouTube agrees with that is a whole other song.
Well,
Sorry.
YouTube disagrees with everything.
Okay, make it a short, and we'll see it later.
Yeah, like you guys know what song I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do.
You
Frozen.
do?
Okay. Thank you, everybody, and have a great night. And see you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow on Antiderivative Jill's channel. That's going to be a blast. I mean, you thought this was fun? Just wait for tomorrow. Bye,
See you then.
everybody. Take,
Yeah. Okay. Have a good night, everybody. It was fun. Have a
yeah,
good one.
and thank you to the fellow panelists. Thank you so much. It means to me having you guys here. It means a lot to me.
Cheers.
Always great. Thanks, Pop.
My pleasure.
Thank you.